Good morning, everybody. It is another beautiful, glorious Sunday morning, and we thank you for coming. It is time to break down on the most important, the most informative show that there is on this topic. It's time to go through our prop bets and our side picks for this week. AG's props are just killing it this season. 37 and 20, the last 58 picks for 23.8 units in the positive. You can't go wrong with that. And the dog
and we
catcher,
and we and we lost five. Well,
r-
we lost 4 units on Thursday night because we were playing with
right,
house money, fucking around with first touchdown bets and shit. So I mean,
right,
we take Thursday night out, which was a wash, and obviously I'm not going to take it out of the stats literally, but
right,
if we take that out, it's 28
yeah,
units, and that number's looking like 36 and like 14 or something like that,
right,
or 17, 16. So
yeah, yeah.
it looked a lot better till Thursday, but we're gonna get right back on track here today.
That's right, that's right. And when it comes to picking sides, the real money is picking underdogs that win and underdogs that cover, because that's just much easier money than trying to pick these favorites to win by 8.5 points and shit like that. So my dog catcher model is now 6-3 straight up in the last 3 weeks, picking underdog money line plays, and 8-3 picking favorites against the spread. So some of those, even when you pick favorites, you got to be really good against the spread to justify giving up that juice. And we think we have
And
found a model that can help us
and real quick,
leverage.
I know we're talking NFL today, but that
Yeah,
model, the dog catcher, yesterday, we got to go through what it did yesterday because I mean we don't have to go through everything. We don't have to give it all away right now, but LSU money line was what, plus one something, plus one or
no, it's
plus
plus
two
four,
thirty.
plus 400,
Oh
something like
shit! All
that.
right, yeah, LSU money line was plus 400. Liberty money line was plus 470. Michigan State money line was plus 530.
530. Yeah,
All
yeah,
those hit.
that's right.
Plus more. Pretty much every
So
team covered
yeah.
almost.
So even if
And
you went like three and
woo,
five, even if you went 3 and 5, those 5 units are more than made up for by the 12 units that you gained
yep.
on the other three bets.
And
So
it
no,
wasn't 3 and 5. It was 3 out of 5. So
right.
like
Yeah,
you
it
really
was.
came up on those
That's right.
big money line plays. Real
That's
quick,
right.
shout out to Jay Pylon in the chat. He said, Hotep, good morning. Shout out to
Word.
Natasha Kayleen. What up? What's up, homie? How are you?
Let's go. Let's go. We
Hope
ready. We ready.
everything's
We
good,
ready to
guys.
get
And
after it.
yeah, without further ado, you want to get into these NFL props?
Yeah,
We got
let's
not
do it.
not such a big Sunday slate. There's a lot of teams on buys this week, so
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, give me
we
just a second. Let me
had to kind of figure out some plays to play here today. So
right.
I don't
And
really like any of these matchups too much.
no, no, for sure. And
A lot of weird ones.
so we're gonna go. So FanDuel has the Colts Patriots game set up first. So I guess that's what we're gonna go with. We're gonna just pull that one up
Let's do it.
first, even though we have in our notes we have Jags Raiders set up first. I'm gonna try and pull this up here so we can get it on screen for everybody to see, and we'll squeeze us down at the bottom. All right, so let's get into it. I'm gonna let you take over with the actual prop bets themselves and kind of lead us down the path. Tell us what you think.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess I'll start with the play that I'm actually most confident in that I'm going to play as one of the plays here today is Ramondre Stevenson for over 3.5 catches at minus 115. It's minus 115 on BetMGM, so I'm not sure what number you're getting there on FanDuel. But if you do have access to BetMGM, minus 115, probably a little better unless things switched up on me overnight. But I like Ramondre Stevenson in this. They've been going to him in the past game a lot. You got Mac Jones back there who, you kind of need him to have that dump off option. He has not proven to be very elite in the passing game yet.
Mm-hmm.
So, always good to have a running back that can catch out of the backfield when you're trying to develop a young quarterback like that.
Right.
He's hit this in 5 out of 8 games. He's hit this in the last 3. He's had 8 and 7 in his last 2, and those 8 catches went for 59 yards. The 7 catches went for 72 yards. So my thinking is, why go away from that if that's been working so well against this Colts defense here? And I'll name some running backs that have had success in the passing game versus the Colts defense this year. Rex Burkhead, week 1, had 5. Travis Etienne had 3. CEH had 5. Derrick Henry had 3. Melvin Gordon had 3. Antonio Gibson just had 7 last week. We know they want to keep going to Ramondre Stevenson. He's kind of become the number 1 back instead of Damian Harris mixing reps. I mean, they're still going to mix reps. Damian Harris is going to get reps. Every team in the NFL is running back by committee at this point. It's just about picking the one that is going to get a bulk of the carries or bulk of the touches. And the thing is, this isn't a rushing prop, so I'm really not worried about Damian Harris because where they will get him involved is in the rushing game. This is a receiving prop, so he doesn't really – here, let me look and just double check before I lie to you guys, but he doesn't really get into the passing game too often. I'm not worried about him taking any catches from Ramondre Stevenson, but let me just double check that. What do you think about this game, Chad? That's the only game that I mean, that's the only prop that I have like as a lock for this one that I'm playing, but we can talk about more plays and thoughts and things like that too.
Yeah. So I felt good. So I want to say this about the so it's minus 120 here. What were you saying the odds were? The best odds that you found? It's like minus 113 or something.
Minus 115 on BetMGM was the best I got.
Minus 115 on BetMGM. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, again, we want to stress to everyone, you gotta shop these around, get your best odds possible, because you can save yourself if you do it right. You can save yourself damn near a whole unit over the course of a day of doing these prop bets. If you're shopping around, if you're giving up, 10 or maybe 5 hundredths on 10 or 12 plays, you easily catch up with yourself and end up giving away a whole unit just on giving up too much juice. So shop those around. But with Jonathan Taylor's injury issues and not sure what exactly we're going to be able to expect out of Ellinger at quarterback, with the Colts being able to sustain drives, I like the Patriots to be on the field a lot. And I do like what the Colts defense has done in terms of forcing teams to work their way methodically down the field. And I think that gives more opportunities to the backs out of the backfield. And Ramondre Stevenson, I will say this about Harris versus Stevenson. It seems like Stevenson is more of that receiving threat than Harris
100%.
is. Harris is that pounder, that goal line guy, Yeah,
so like I said, Stevenson's hit at least 4 catches in 5 out of 8. I mean, he had 3 and a couple other ones too, if I remember correctly. But the most Damian Harris has had in a game all season is 2. He's got 11 on the year. So, I mean, Stevenson's got 15 in the last 2 weeks. So, I mean, he might steal 1 or 2 away, but that shows that they're going to their running backs 7 times, 6 times. And Stevenson's been catching pretty much all his targets. It's like 4 catches for 4 targets, 4 catches, 4 targets. You know what I mean? So I'm going to take that. But I agree with Jay Pylon here. It is a weird matchup, but it's like one of those matchups that's like weird, but we can kind of expect what we're going to see. It's going to be just clashing. They're just going to clash. They're going to meet in the middle. One team's going to end up on top with a field goal or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I got the Patriots as well. And I got the Patriots actually covering the 3 in this game, in this matchup. So.
All right. But to your point about Jonathan Taylor being out, someone else that is worth looking at is Deion Jackson in the pass game as well. The last 2 times he got the number 1 and, got the start. We don't know what we're going to see out of Zach Moss. He just got traded there. Nyheim Hines is no longer in the picture over there.
Right.
It's Deion Jackson's field today. And the last couple times he had like 10 catches and 7 catches or something like that. Like they're going to him out of the backfield. So at 21.5 receiving yards for plus 100, he's hit that both times he was the starter. And then you're also looking at 2.5 catches, which he hit both times too. So those aren't bad plays either. You got to eat a lot of juice for the catches though for Deion Jackson. But in case anybody isn't feeling Stevenson, I wanted to mention that Deion Jackson is there. He'll probably end up making one of the parlays with those receiving yards or something. We'll probably throw him in one of the parlays at the end. I don't want to take him as one of my straight picks. So I'm going to make a note to just circle back to that while we're building some parlays later on today.
Yeah. So, and you're going to have to shop around to find the Deion Jackson receptions play because it is not available on FanDuel. Just throwing that out there. So,
oh, really? Okay. Hold on. I could tell you where to get it real quick. I was just looking at it. Oh, yeah, it isn't. Yeah, 2.5. So you're getting 3.5 at plus 125 on PointsBet, but I don't know if I want to go up to 4. I mean, if he hits 3, he probably hits 4, but
so you said 3.5 is what? Is plus 125
on PointsBet? Yeah, but 2.5 is minus 180 or minus 175, minus 156 on all these books. So it's like, I don't know, that might be one where we throw in the receiving yards into a parlay later or something. So
Right.
I'm staying away from it as a straight.
All right. It's funny to me. So like this, I'm just gonna say this. Like it's funny to me that like some of these plays that are more risky, it seems like that's the ones you're more likely to put in a parlay. And I tend to go like I try to build these parlays where I'm like teasing it to make it easier to overcome.
Well, it
And
depends. So I
but I
mean,
guess it's how the money works out.
I guess I do both. I do both also. You know, there's some it depends what I'm going for. This is going to be one of those parlays where I'm taking like I don't think it's necessarily a riskier play. I just don't want to eat the juice
Yeah, I got
on
you.
a
I got
straight.
you.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, so if you can throw it in a parlay where
now
now
his
overall
receiving
you're
yards is different. So like
yeah.
if I'm gonna have to go to BetMGM to put his catches in a one game parlay or in a
Mhm.
parlay or in general. So yeah, there's discrepancies, like there's nuance there. I don't do that every time though. I mean, you know damn well I do the same thing you do too, where I tease him down in parlays.
Right.
If we're
Right.
going for a parlay where we're gonna tease all the yards numbers down, that's the way to go, to just keep it consistent in the same parlay. If you're
Mhm.
gonna go
Mhm.
risky, put all your risky ones in the same parlay. Don't let the risky one butcher your safe parlay. You know what I
Right,
mean? So
right.
don't add it to the safe one. Keep it separate.
Yeah,
So like
I got you.
I'm looking at
Yeah,
that as like
had that big lottery ticket that's like, I know this is a million to one shot, but let's go get
yeah.
it, and then have the other ones be like, all right, this should be I like this way better than what the money they're charging me for it is, like because a lot of times it's just simple as pot odds, like
Yeah, I mean, dude, honestly, that
I like
Deion Jackson receiving yards at plus 100 right now in FanDuel, 21 and a
Mhm.
half, that might be a play to play straight. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that everybody should throw this in their parlay. I just have so many straight bets I'm about to give out. I can't just
Right.
give out a million
Gotcha.
or else
Anything else on
we're
this
going to
game? Or
lose on the
are you
juice
ready to
anyway.
Yeah, you ready to move on to the Panthers Bengals?
Nah, yeah, I'm good to go. You can move on.
All right, let's do it. So here we go, folks. So you got a couple of official plays there, and one kind of keep an eye on it play with
Well, hold
the
on. While
reception.
we're still on it, real quick, just because I just
Yeah.
looked up his stats. So the official numbers, those two starts that he had at Denver and versus Jacksonville earlier in
Mhm.
the year, the first one he had 4 catches for 29 yards. The next one he had 10 for 79. So,
Oh, okay.
you know, it just that
Both
4
of
for
those clear the
29,
3.5. Yeah.
that 4 for 29 is like where I'm like iffy. Obviously, if it was 10 for
Right.
79 and then 7 for like 50, I'm slamming these. I'm like, all right, yeah,
Right.
they're gonna go to him.
The number's probably also not there. It's not at
It's a
three and a
little,
half with that money.
yeah, it's a little
So
tough. So
yeah, I got
so
you.
I'm gonna throw the yards in a parlay later, maybe. And that's because I have a couple plays that I'm thinking about where I'm deciding between a couple different plays in a couple games. So whichever one I decide is the straight, the other one will get thrown in that parlay with Deion Jackson, is what I'm thinking.
All right, so I don't know if you can see this, but I went straight to when I pulled up the Carolina Bengals game. I'm like, all right, what's the money on PJ Walker throwing interception? because I think that's happening, and apparently so does Vegas because it's at minus 166. So I'm staying away from that because it's possible that he could probably get like strip sack fumbled a couple of times and turn the ball over, multiple times and still
Without
not
a
throw a
pick,
pick.
yeah.
You know,
I'll tell you what, man, he's playing well for what it's worth.
he is. He is. He's been playing well. I do like, let's see what we got longest reception wise. I'm just going to throw out my like what I jump to when I start thinking about these games is let's see what, DJ Moore over 22 and a half. That's intriguing.
Well, look
Minus
the Bengals
114.
way, I would say. I would say
Yeah.
look the Bengals way in this case, just because of the Panthers. They got some issues in the secondary
hmm
with
Oh
injuries
yeah.
and stuff.
This is just like first blush. I'm like, all right, let me see where there might be some like value because I think that after what happened on Monday night, I think there's a huge fade to Cincinnati coming into this game because Carolina's been playing well. Cincinnati not been playing or didn't play well this past week. They're without Jamar Chase still. So I was thinking in terms of, all right, we may have actually some value here in going with the Bengals, and they're minus 4.5 right now.
Yeah, I was about to say, it sounds like
I've
a
got them
side play.
covering. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
got them covering that. Yeah, I've got them covering that 4.5 easy. And so what I'm looking at is, yeah, let's go to the Bengals side on this. So we got Tyler Boyd over 21 and a half at minus 114 and T Higgins at over 25 and a half at minus 114. So all of these plays are minus 114 on FanDuel. You may be able to shop around and get better better stuff there. But that's just my little first blush glance at this stuff. What do you have officially for this one?
I actually don't have an official play here.
Okay.
But like I said, I do favor the Bengals in the passing game. But you got to consider they got away from the run like big time last week.
Yeah.
And we got to imagine that they're talking about that potentially being something that hurt them a lot in that game Monday night. So they might go to the run game. I don't know. There was just a couple too many variables. I didn't really like any of the numbers necessarily. You're not making a bad play if you're taking T. Higgins on his yards. You're not making a bad play if you're taking DJ Moore on his yards, but it's just nothing I wanted to back.
Yeah, so let's look at some alt receiving yards. Because
that's another where we like maybe put T. Higgins in as for 60 yards or 50 yards or something, and we add that to the parlay. You know what I mean?
Right,
So
right.
I'll note that down too, so we don't forget later on.
Yeah, so you could get. So let's see, if you do 50, let's see, if you do 60 and 60, Higgins 60, DJ Moore 60, you're at plus 149 for that little 2-leg.
That's very doable. Very doable.
Yeah. Yeah, very much so. So, but yeah, so you got anything else that you're interested in, that you're intrigued in on this one, or is this kind of a dead matchup for you in terms of?
I mean, Joe Mixon intrigues me, just because I feel like they're gonna maybe put an emphasis on getting him the ball.
Mm-hmm.
But
So
I don't know if
maybe?
I trust that though.
What about 18 and a half attempts? Do you think that's too much? I think it is.
It's too much.
That's too
that's
much,
why I didn't want to back it. It's like, well, it could very well hit because if they're thinking the same way that I'm thinking of, like, oh shit, we got to get him to rock a little bit and sustain some drives and things like that, take some time off the clock, keep our defense rested on the sideline for a little bit. If they're thinking that way, he likely might hit this 18, especially if they get out ahead through the passing game and the Panthers aren't showing up like they have been the past couple of weeks. I mean, anything can happen. Too many variables in this one that I didn't really like. So I don't know about Joe Mixon, but he's kind of like my sleeper pick, as like he might have a day today, Not enough to put my money behind him, though. I think I lost Chad. He's frozen on me,
here.
But you're frozen on my screen. Is it me?
It might be me. I don't know. I see it.
You're back now.
Yeah. So I think it's one of those plays where, like, the assumption of rational coaching, I will bring that up again. That we did this a few weeks with Josh Jacobs and the Raiders. We did it last week with Derrick Henry against the Texans. Both of those matchups were against the Texans. Terrible run defense. I digress. This is one that's actually.
Yeah, you guys remember when Chad was talking shit about my internet for the past 5 weeks? Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Chad, I lost you, bro. I don't know if you're still talking, but I guess I'll get to another game while we're waiting on that. Waiting on Chad to get back. Jay Pilot said the picks are so cold they froze Chad. Hell yeah, man. Yo, keep dropping your picks as we go, Jay, if you're here, because I'm liking it. I like the Bengals in this one. I think they probably cover. There's just so many variables. I didn't want to back any of these player props because I don't know how they're going to coach this game or anything like that. Chad finally decided to drop and try to reset. Hopefully he gets back in a second here. I don't have the screen. That's the problem. So he's got the screen on. So I'm going to go full view. And then I don't know what game I should do next. Let's figure it out. I guess let's do Minnesota at Washington. I like this game right here. Taylor Heineke being in the game makes all the difference for this Washington team. I mean, they were just showing on NFL Game Day. I'm just looking over at the TV. They're showing a graphic. Can Taylor Heineke push the Commanders to the playoffs? They're like one spot out of being in the hunt for the playoffs right now. After that really cold start with Carson Wentz, they were not playing well. Did not look like a good football team. Let me just send this tweet out real quick. But yeah, they did not look like a good football team. So in this game, though, I got Terry McLaurin over 5.5 catches at plus 135 on PointsBet. You can definitely find 4.5 or stuff like that You can still find 5.5 probably on other books also. You're gonna get less value though for it if you don't have points bet. He's only hit this in 2 out of 8 so far. So it doesn't sound like it's a great pick, and that's probably why it's juiced up a little bit here on points bet. But with Heineke in, man, Heineke loves going to Terry McLaurin. Terry has 5 catches and 6 catches in the last 2 games with Heineke starting. The Vikings defense, it's a perfect matchup versus Vikings defense. They're 29th in passing yards allowed and 29th in opponent completion percentage. To me, that says a very efficient passing game for Taylor Heineke, especially if he's able to get time back there. If he gets time back there, he can nickel and dime. Why not go to your best player at that point? You got an efficient pass game. You're going to be able to nickel and dime this defense. Go to your best player. Best player on the field for the Commanders is Terry McLaurin. Go to your guy. The Vikings run D top 10. They might have to resort to the pass anyway. So I'm hoping that's the case. I got Terry McLaurin over 5.5 catches. Now, another thing we can look at is Antonio Gibson for sure in this game. They've been going to him. McKissick is out. So let's see what his numbers are at, especially in the passing game, I think. Because like I said, the Vikings, their strength is their run defense. They're a top 10 run defense, but they're terrible passing. So Antonio Gibson for 4 catches is juiced up plus 110. BetMGM, DraftKings, Caesars plus 108. That might be a play also. That might actually be a better play than Terry McLaurin. I might throw a half unit on both. Chad's back in the house, it looks like.
Yeah, what was the one that what's his name? Oh, what's the guy that his name is blanking on me. The guy who's on with John Ryan, the prop bet guy.
Oh, Jim Coventry.
Coventry, that's it. I was like, man, I got Harvey Pasternak on my brain. I kept thinking,
Oh boy,
his name kept coming up. So I was like, that's not his name. But yeah, let's not go down that rabbit hole. But yeah, so I think Coventry had Gibson 21.5 receiving yards or maybe 23.5, something like that, as an overplay for him for this week.
Yeah, it's a good play too. Oh shit, I lost Chad again. Uh-oh. All right, well, whatever. I'll go back to this. I think Aaron Gibson for 4 catches is worth a look. He had 7 last week against this Colts defense. This Vikings defense, they're inefficient in the pass game. So we know that they like going to Antonio Gibson more in the pass game than they do in the run game. Let's just double check these numbers before I lead anybody down the wrong path. Always got to double check. Yeah, he's had 3 catches in 4 straight games until last week. He had 7. 7 targets, 4 targets in the other games. He's catching it pretty much every time he gets targeted. Taylor Heineke being in the game, though, man, it makes a difference here. It makes a difference. He had only 3 catches in the first game against Green Bay, but against Indy last week, 7 catches. And with McKissick out today, I kind of like that. I think I'm going to do a half unit on both of those. So I'm going to add that in there right now. So we got a full unit in general on those plays right there. Let me write this down so I got it in my notes here. What's the best value we're getting on that? The best value we're getting on that is at BetMGM or DraftKings at plus 110. So we're going to go ahead and take that. Man, you guys send some donations. I'm going to put Chad's Cash App in the description box so he can buy some better internet and get back on this show with us. Jay Pylon, what up, bro? He said it's going to be a messy week 9. That's what I think. We'll see. I kind of agree there because some of these matchups are just ugly. They just, I'm looking for props and I'm just like, all these games are weird. Like we got the Bills Jets. Like, what do I call in that game? The Bills are going to blow them out. How do you call anything for the Jets side? You don't know what the Bills are going to do to blow out the Jets. And then, there's always the factor of like these big spreads, man. They stay close sometimes. So the Jets might keep it close, but I can't bet on that. I can't bet on the Jets keeping it close here against Buffalo. You got Green Bay, Detroit. That's one of the games I have kind of a solid read on. I like that. We'll wait till Chad gets back to get to that one. Minnesota, Washington, Chargers, Falcons. When we get off of here, go check out our Chargers, Falcons broadcast because we did a whole special show about that as well, where we went through the matchups and what we think. The Chargers' whole offense is out, so you got to look at Austin Eckler in that game. We're gonna get back to these anyway, but I'm just talking to Jay here about this messy week, like Dolphins, Bears. Kind of see that game, being a lot of scoring in that game. I called the over earlier in our early pick show. Go check that out too if you guys want. And then we got Raiders, Jags, ugly. Carolina Bengals, we just talked about that, ugly. Colts, Pats, we just talked about that, ugly matchup. We only have 2 4:00 games, which is wacky. I mean, we had the Seahawks at the Cardinals, and then we have the Rams at the Bucks. Rams at the Bucks, ugly. Seahawks at Cardinals, that should be like a fun one. Maybe a shootout. The over-under set at 48.5. It opened at 50. We'll see what happens there with that. And then Jay's got his pick. Commanders, tough because the Vikings are 6-1 too. Yeah, I mean, I kind of like the Commanders. The thing about the Commanders is they win the games that they're not supposed to, and then they lose the games that they're favored. Like when they're favorites, week 2, week 3, or whatever, week 1, they losing. And then when they're the dogs, they've been winning games lately. Taylor Heineke makes all the difference because Carson Wentz couldn't move at all. Jay Pilot said Geno Smith greater than the NFL. I agree, dude. I agree. I mean, I think he has a big game. I think they win that game. I picked actually on the early pick show, the early in the week pick show, I took the Seahawks to cover 2.5 against the Cardinals. I think they get that done. I think they win outright. It's at 1.5 now. It's pretty much pick, but I think they take care of business there. Let's get into the next game though. So we got Terry McLaurin and Antonio Gibson at their catches numbers at plus money. We're gonna do a half unit on each just because I couldn't decide between which one I liked more, but I like both of those. And that's not to say that Minnesota's not gonna have a good game too, because obviously we didn't look at Minnesota's props at all. But I expect Dalvin Cook to do all right. Maybe another 70-yard game. I expect Justin Jefferson to do his thing. Obviously these are like week in and week out things, but sometimes those numbers are set so high. Like Justin Jefferson set at 87.5 on FanDuel right now. It's just too high for me to back as a straight. I'll put him in a parlay with like 70 receiving yards or 60 or something like that. But I can't back 90 yards straight, man, because every receiver has that day where they get 2 catches for like 15, 20 yards. So his numbers just get so high. I don't like betting them. Adam Thielen at 49.5. I mean, that looks favorable. So does Curtis Samuel, but I don't want to go back to the Commander side of things. We already got a couple picks there. Adam Thielen, he has had so he's cracked 50 in 1, 2, 3, 4 games this season, but only one of the last 3. It was last week against the Cardinals. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe take a look at him. I'm going to stay away. It looked good on the surface. Then you got the factor of TJ Hawkinson. I didn't want to take any of his picks because I just don't know how much they're going to get him involved already. But going forward, we're definitely going to be looking at him a lot with Vikings games. Let's get to another game here. Hey, let's do the Bills at the Jets since I mentioned that earlier. So this is one of those games where a 10.5 point spread. The Bills are like the only team that have gotten these huge spreads and actually covered them consistently. We saw the Eagles not cover their big spread a couple of days ago. Me and Chad were all over that on this channel. Chad called it out that the Texans were going to score first, get on the board, and keep applying pressure. It almost got away from them in the second half, but they still covered for us. We didn't take that as like an official pick or anything, but we were definitely leaning a closer game than a lot of people thought. But let's get into this Buffalo game. I think they do win. I think they do cover. I think they're going to take care of business against the Jets. I'm on record saying that the Jets are one of the most fraudulent winning teams that we've seen. When they were 5-2, I was like, this is the most fraudulent 5-2 team that I have ever seen. Let me, before I get into this, let me just text Chad real quick, see what's up with him. Let's see if he's even coming back, or else I'll just breeze through the rest of these picks and we'll get on to our Sunday. Let's see. All right, but my pick for this Bills game though is Josh Allen over 2.5 passing touchdowns at plus 160 on BetMGM. So Chad just replied, sorry. All right, he said his internet's down, so maybe he'll be back later. He said he's working on it right now. So yeah, I'm gonna put Chad's Cash App in the description box. So send him some donations so we can get him some internet. Maybe he'll join us for next week's show. As Jay said, the picks were so cold they froze Chad and got Chad up out of here. But and I'm pretty sure Jay meant that in a good way. Like the picks were icy, not like cold, like we were not winning, because we're winning over here. Packers seems wrong, but that is how inept the Lions coaching is. Yeah, I agree. Every time that the Lions are in a situation where it's like, yeah, I like the Lions here. The Lions match up well. The Lions should be able to win this game. They're going to be able to put up points. They're going to be able to get a couple stops maybe. They should win. And then they lose. They lose those games every time. You know, it's like take the Lions to cover some games maybe. But if you're taking the money line, just expect to be disappointed. I mean, expect them to have a lead, lose it, things like that. It's always going to happen with the Lions. It's been the same story for 10 years. For as long as I've been watching football, been the same story with the Lions. I don't expect that changing unless, I mean, they got some young talent. So maybe in a couple years they'll figure that out, get some new coaching in there as well. Go long on 4th and 2 is always the best option. Did the Lions do that? I didn't see, but let's try a trick play on 3rd and inches. Yeah, and you sound like my Pop Warner offensive coordinator. I guess that's what the Lions are doing. I mean, it's not ringing a bell. I probably did see it, but it's not ringing a bell off the top of my head, but that's hilarious. But yeah, I like Josh Allen here. Over 2.5 passing touchdowns. It actually went down to plus 155 now on BetMGM, but I'll take that anyway. The Jets are fraudulent, man. They're 5-3, I think. But they haven't played any legit quarterbacks. They've got blessed with injuries and suspensions and things like that. They've played nothing but backup quarterbacks pretty much. They have 4 games against a starting quarterback, and that's counting Mac Jones as a starting quarterback. So really, they played 3 established NFL quarterbacks, which was Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and Aaron Rodgers. Joe Burrow had 3 touchdown passes. Lamar Jackson had 3 touchdown passes. And we know the Ravens, that's not even their game. They run the ball into the end zone. You know what I mean? And he had 3 against them. Aaron Rodgers only had 1, but like, what are we expecting from Aaron Rodgers in the Packers defense or Packers offense? Not much. Not much against that Bills defense, at least. I mean, not much even against that Jets defense, at least. They played the Bills last week. I'm like, what am I saying? But so that's 2 out of 3 actual legitimate quarterbacks that they've played have hit this number. And Josh Allen, arguably, most people would say the best quarterback in the league right now. So I like this. I like him to get 3. He's hit this in 4 out of 7. So this plus 155 juice is a little disrespectful in my opinion. You got the Bills favored 10.5 over under around 45.5. They're implying like a 29-17 Bills win. So that's 4 touchdowns for the Bills. They got 4 rushing touchdowns all season. They get 79% of their touchdowns through the air. So I mean, if they're going to get 4 touchdowns, I expect at least 3 of those to come from Josh Allen, if not 4 at the number that juiced up plus 160. I'll take that any day. And as we saw last week, I mean, Zach Wilson might literally give the Bills a lot of extra chances that they don't really deserve. And when I say give, I mean like literally give. You know what I mean? Because we saw it last week with Zach Wilson. So if he's going to give Josh Allen some short fields, I expect him to attack that. The receiver should have a day 2. But my official pick in that game is Josh Allen for 2.5 passing touchdowns. Yo, Chad, if the FanDuel is what's screwing us up here, we don't have to throw it up.
All right, yeah, I might just kill that. I don't think it is. Like my internet's down, so I had to hotspot this thing so we could just be on here at all. So yeah, let me. I'll just get out of this one, and it'll just be me and you, and we'll just talk about this.
All right, so I went through. I did the Vikings Commanders game and Bills Jets real quick while you were gone.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to add anything in those.
So the Commanders, let's see. Is Washington one of my? No, they're not. And yeah, I got Minnesota. I got Minnesota minus the 3, or 3.5 in that one, and I have Buffalo actually. So this one I actually have Buffalo not covering, but that's not the reliable part of my model. My model is better at picking underdogs, Vegas underdogs that should be favorites, or picking favorites to win by more than what the spread is. When it gets to that in between area where it looks like my model says that the favorite should win, but should win by less than the spread, it becomes a little bit less reliable. It becomes closer to a coin flip. So this one I've got the Bills winning this one straight up. I mean, that's not that hard of a pick because like they're a Super Bowl favorite at this point, and the Jets are terrible. But anyway, nothing is guaranteed in the NFL, as we have seen with the Packers and the Buccaneers and a couple of other of these teams that have disappointed us. So, but yeah, in that Commanders Vikings game, I have Vikings covering that spread. So
yeah, so my picks in those games were Terry McLaurin for over 5.5 catches at plus 135, and then Antonio Gibson over 3.5 at plus 115 or something like that. It was, I think. Let me go actually grab that number. Oh wait, hold on, I got it here. Yeah, plus 110 on BetMGM. So those are my picks in that game. And then for the Bills game, my pick was Josh Allen to throw for 3 touchdowns at plus 155 on BetMGM. I got it at plus 160. So on the record, it's going to be plus 160, but it's plus 155 right now. So I like that also. And then we can jump into another game. I don't know if you want to just go random games now that we're off FanDuel anyway, or...
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. The dogs are going crazy. So
the dogs are barking. Maybe it is the Jets.
Yeah.
Maybe it is the Jets today. The dogs are barking.
I tend to doubt it, but yeah, why not?
Let's get into
my wife went outside and she's standing outside talking to somebody, so now the dogs are going nuts because they can't be separated from the action.
I got you. So, a dog that Jay Pylon was just talking about was the Detroit Lions. So let's go to the Lions and Packers game. Chad, check out what so Jay was like, yeah, my pick is the Packers. It just seems wrong, but that's how inept the Lions coaching is. Go long on 4th and 2 is always the best option. Let's try a trick play on 3rd and inches. So I tend to agree with him. Every time the Lions look like they should win a game, like the Packers are in the basement. You know what I mean? They're terrible. They can't get anything going.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to pick the Lions. I made that mistake the first 2-3 weeks of the season. Not doing it again. I'm not doing it again. No matter what.
Okay.
Can't trust them. Maybe covering a bigger spread. Sure. Yeah. I could see them covering bigger spreads. But they're going to fuck up their win somehow.
Yeah, so this one I've got Green Bay covering the 3.5 by my model. But yeah, like I don't know. I'm just waiting for Aaron Rodgers to either decide that like he's done and he's ready to ride off into the sunset, him and Tom Brady both, or are they actually going to find a way in their old age to muster something from the roster around them and make their team, show, all right, so you guys are the GOATs. Let's go prove it, or move out the way and let some of these young studs, make their way and start showing their muster up.
Listen, the young studs aren't really giving him much of a choice, man. The young studs are pushing him out of the the
That's right.
If you really think about it, not the ones that are under them, obviously, but I mean, they don't have any young studs under them. It's just, but the rest of the league is taking them by storm right now. I mean, that's proof in the standings right there.
For sure.
But yeah, man, this Packers team's struggling, man. I don't know where to go here, right? I got 3 options. No, 2 options for Aaron Jones. Do we go with Aaron Jones to score 2 touchdowns at plus 350? Oof. Or do we go for Aaron Jones to have let me find it real quick. Or do we go Aaron Jones for over 14.5 rush attempts at plus 106? Whichever one doesn't make the cut here as a straight is going in the parlay probably.
Yeah. 14.
I like both. So look here, let me give you the numbers.
Over 14.5, you said?
Yeah.
For Aaron Jones? Yeah. I like that better. But let's hear what
Well,
you
it's
got.
obviously the less risky play. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Obviously. So,
yeah,
but yeah, so he's averaged 11 per game in the first 7 games, but last
mm-hmm,
week he had 20, and it
mm-hmm,
worked very well. He had 7.2 yards per carry against the Bills defense, who's number 5 in yards per carry allowed. So it worked very well. I see them going back to it and trying to get some success out of it. Now, he didn't score any touchdowns when they did that. So, maybe this is the better play. But I
mm-hmm.
think he punches one in against this Lions defense. So the Lions are 28th in yards per carry allowed. I don't see why they wouldn't go to their best player on the field.
Right, right,
The RB1 has scored versus the Lions in 5 out of 7 games. The Lions have allowed 2+ rushing touchdowns in 4 out of 7 games. Rashad Penny and Zeke both had 2 on the ground alone against them. So while Aaron Jones only has 4 touchdowns on the season, both games that he scored in, he scored 2. So he gets his in 2s. So there's almost no value in taking him for
okay.
1 touchdown.
For one, yeah, 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 yeah,
But
because
this
you're
is a
gonna have to pay
Lions
a
defense.
premium.
Exactly.
Yeah,
But this is a Lions defense who allows the most touchdowns in the league, 4 touchdowns per game, last in the league. The Packers
right.
need a win desperately. Aaron Rodgers has been saying it all week. We just need to get a win. We need to just get a win. We need to find a way to get a win. You want to know how to get a win, guys? Give the ball to your best player, Aaron Jones. You know what I mean? Let him
Well,
get
and it's
into
not
the end
like
zone.
yeah, and with all the struggles that they have with Aaron Rodgers trying to find that go-to guy, with all the injuries, and it's just like they're not the same without Devontae Adams. Like they've tried to find, and he's been really good. You go back even to like the Brett Favre era, and Favre would do it too, whether it was Donald Driver or Greg Jennings or whoever. Like they always seem to have a guy who would step in and become the next great receiver. Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb, like all these, you
Yeah,
have all these
yeah.
different examples of this. And I really thought, Alan Lazard would be that guy, but then he got banged up. And so it's just Aaron Rodgers trying to find and make a stud receiver out of that hodgepodge of receivers that he has. Reminds me a lot of like early Tom Brady career where he didn't have those weapons and he was thrown to Troy Brown and Rashay Caldwell, all these guys.
Yeah.
It's very similar to that. And so yeah, the sensible play, and again, assumption of rational coaching, take it with a grain of salt, but the sensible play is to lean on the running game and then give Aaron Rodgers the ability to use play action passing after you've established that run to play off of that running game, but let Aaron Jones be the focal point of the offense today.
Yeah. And at some point, you got to try to get him hot. Like, you got to try your best. Like, in the red zone, I don't care if he's a little gassed from gashing down the sideline to the end zone or to the red zone. Don't put A.J. Dillon in. Keep Aaron Jones in there and let him get in the end zone. You got to get him going at some point in this season. That's the only way you have a chance at actually making anything out of this season is if you get your best player going, Aaron Jones. He's the one that's solidified. You know what I mean? You can talk about Alan Lazard when he's healthy, solid, not bad, but he's not Aaron Jones. You know what I mean? That's the best player that's going to be on the field.
Right, right.
You got to give him the rock. I think why don't we just make it easy? Go a half unit on each.
I
Make
dig
it
it.
into a
I
full
dig
unit
it.
play.
Yeah, yeah. I like it.
I think that's what I'm going to do there. So I'll play both of those. So Aaron Jones for 2+ touchdowns at plus 300. That'll be a moneymaker if it hits. That's one of those. Obviously, it's a riskier one. We're taking a half unit on it. And then we're taking a half unit on his rushing attempts, mostly because he could get more involved in the passing game and then they don't end up having to run or anything like that. So, and I'm also worried about if they stall out the first couple possessions and the Lions put some points on the board, then they get away from the run game anyway. Not saying that would be the right decision. It would probably cost them in the long run by the end of the game, but
Yeah.
I could see that being what they do if the game gets away from them. So I guess I'll play both with a half unit. Keep it safe. Keep it simple. Maybe we hit both. Get some bread.
Yeah, weird.
This slate is so ugly, man.
It
There's
is. It's
only
a
2
terrible.
4:00 games. I'm
Yeah, it's a
I'm
terrible
looking for
slate.
plays all night, and I'm like, I'm just gonna play a couple from the same game and call it a day with the rest of them. But
Right.
while we're still on this game, I do like a non-Ross St. Brown to have a day.
Okay.
And don't forget, guys, we have a free $25 bet from FanDuel because of our Thursday same game parlay. It was insurance based. So if you didn't use that yet, we
Right.
still have it. So I didn't use it. We didn't use it on the show. So we're going to use it
Right.
today for a touchdown parlay, free $25 on a touchdown parlay.
There you
Amon
go.
Ross St. Brown is going to be a part of that, but it's not going to be his straight. I'm going to take him for over 72.5 receiving yards at minus 113 on FanDuel today. I'm looking for him to get going again and get back hot. You know, when he gets hot and he has a couple of successful games in a row, it doesn't stop. He keeps it going. He's fresh back from injury and stuff, but last week he had 7 catches for 69 yards versus that. Who were they playing? I forget who they were playing, but the Packers defense is good in the pass game. If you look at the stats, based on the stats and the numbers, they look like they're a solid pass defense.
Talk about who the Lions were playing last week. They were playing
Yeah.
the Dolphins.
Yeah, the Dolphins. So yeah, he put up 69 yards against the Dolphins. Obviously, the Dolphins' pass defense is you can do that against them. You know what I mean? It's not nobody's surprised when you do that against the Dolphins' defense. But that's what I was going to bring up, the Packers' pass defense, because on paper, if you look at the numbers, if you look at the stats and the rankings, they look like they're a good pass defense. But that's really a matchup thing. They look like a good pass defense because they've played the Bears, the Bucks, the Giants, the Jets, the Patriots, the Commanders, and then the Bills and Vikings. So they've also played the Bills and Vikings. So sure.
Right.
I'll take that. But Stephon Diggs just torched the Packers D for 108 yards. Amon-Ra St. Brown, the Lions know they got to get him going. This is another situation of get the ball to your best player if you want to win. This is a winnable game for the Lions. I like them to attack their stud, their star young receiver, Amon-Ra St. Brown, for over 72.5 receiving yards. I'll take that.
All right. So I'm looking at this one, and I don't see a whole lot props wise outside of what you said, but I do like Green Bay to actually cover this line here. I know we've been talking about this for a while, and we just kind of maybe I feel like I'm at this point I'm hunting for when that relax moment, is going to come, and Aaron Rodgers is actually going to start being Aaron Rodgers again, and this Green Bay offense is going to actually get out of neutral. I think this is the week, but I don't know, man. I actually had Green Bay as one of the teams when they started off a little sluggishly. I went ahead and threw down like $10 on them, their futures to bet to win the Super Bowl, because I looked at it and I was like, all right, they've got a good defense, they've got really good running game and good backs in that running game, and then Aaron Rodgers is going to find a way to create a new Devontae Adams out of this receiving core, and it just has not materialized. Yeah. I still think that's the one thing I'll say about the NFL is it's a really, really long season, and yeah, it looks like Green Bay, if they do anything like that, it's going to have to come out of the wild card because Minnesota is kind of running away with that division at this point.
Yeah,
but
unless the Packers win here today. And my guy Matthew Ackman right here in the chat is correct. With his Commanders money line play plus 145 upset of the week. I love it. I like that. I think this is a good matchup for the Commanders. I mean, we just talked about that game a couple minutes ago, probably 15, 20 minutes ago, if you want to rewind, if you missed that, Matt. But I took pretty much all Washington sides, when I was talking about props and stuff. It was all Washington players for the most part. I actually had to circle back and get some Minnesota, ideas in there because I'm I don't think it's going to be a one-sided game. They're going to do something. So I went back and threw out some ideas for Minnesota also. But I think this is going to be one of those games with the Commanders. They win the games that they're not supposed to, and they lose the games that they're supposed to win. And Taylor Heineke makes all the difference at quarterback instead of Carson Wentz. He didn't really ever lose the job. You know what I mean? It was just the fact that Carson Wentz came in with a little bit of a bigger bag that they had to pay. So you kind of have to start him. I think that Wentz getting hurt might have been one of the best things that happened for the Commanders this season. And I was just saying a couple minutes ago while Chad was gone and we were talking about that game, I got a NFL Game Day on right here on the TV, and I was looking over and they had a graphic up. And the question was, can Taylor Heineke push the Commanders into the playoffs? I mean, it's a possibility. They're right in the hunt now. So I do like that pick. Matt. I might tell you on that. I might throw a little half unit on that because I was already feeling it. Now I got someone else saying it. I can dig it. You got anything else on this, Chad? But my bad. I cut you off with the I just wanted to shout out my guy there. But yeah, if Green Bay wins this game and Minnesota loses, then they got a chance. But other than that, Minnesota's running away with the division.
Yeah. So the thing that I'll say about that is that I a lot of my model picks are based on Carson Wentz at quarterback. So like until we get more data with Taylor Heineke, we're kind
Right.
of stuck with that being what fills the model. So Taylor Heineke makes it different.
Makes it way different. Yeah, I agree. What game you want to get into next?
Man, my bad. I'm trying to get my internet back up. So keep going. You pick a game and let's go with it.
Oh, all
Sorry.
right, all right. You're good. All right. Let's get into the Raiders and the Jags. Shout out Raider Nation. If you missed it, if you didn't catch it, we did a whole like 20, 25, 30-minute special on this game where we really went in depth and talked about all of the angles and player props that anybody can look at for this game. I got a couple official plays that I'm going to make official here, but there's way more thoughts and ideas and things to look at in that video. So after we get off here, go check that out, put it on a double speed or 1.5 speed and get through it in a quick 5-10 minutes. And you'll have some better ideas also. But for the purpose of this show, for the purpose of my official picks for the day in this game, I'm going to take Travis Etienne for over 17.5 for his longest run, minus 115 on BetMGM. He's hit 30 plus in his last 4 for his longest runs. I mean, he is absolutely, he's feeling comfortable now in that position. He's running all over every defense that he matches up with. 30 plus longest run in your last 4 games. In each of his last 4, he's at like 30, 46, 49, 48. I see him breaking one against this Raiders defense here. Vegas is top 5 in yards per carry allowed. So, I mean, there's some room for pause. You know, I'm not going to sit here and try to act like that's not the fact. That is the fact. But Jacksonville is also top 5 in yards per carry themselves. And like I said, Travis Etienne has been running all over defenses left and right the past couple weeks. So I like that. At minus 115, we're not eating too much juice. It's only an 18-yard run. He breaks 2 tackles. He can hit the outside and break this. I'm not saying, you know, we're not asking him to get 45 like he's been doing the past couple weeks, but he's been doing that the past couple weeks. So I'll take 18 yards against this Raiders defense, especially with the Raiders kind of spiraling out of control. I know this is a must win for them, especially if last week wasn't, but I see Etienne breaking at least one. We only need him to break one. We don't need him to have sustained drives and keep it going all throughout the game, but we could get a second quarter, break a run. We cash this. We're moving on to the next bet. So I like that play there.
So when we're looking at, I'm just looking at your breakdown for this game and I see, I don't know where we are in terms of overall pass defense. You have here that the Las Vegas D is worse against the pass than they are against the run. I don't know what the numbers are, but they are 5th yards per rush. I'm sorry, they're 6th in rush defense yards allowed, but Jacksonville's up there. But you know that was with Robinson. Now they've traded him, so you know it's all on Etienne, and you're gonna have some other guys contributing there. But what I'm wondering is it possible that Vegas tries to shore up some of that passing game and maybe it makes it a little easier because Etienne has that game breaking ability, and I could see like some pass formation draw plays and some little tosses out of the shotgun, that sort of stuff where it's not necessarily your traditional run game, but it becomes like a short passing game even out of the backfield, and it could be actually on rush plays, and that's where that long rush could hit. But I maybe we look at what his rush totals could be. And I apologize. Normally I would have all this stuff. I'd be pulling it up and we'd be going through it on the screen in real time. But I'm still working with my internet provider to try to get this situation worked out.
Bro, we cashed Chad's model. Chad's model cashed a plus 530 Michigan State money line, plus 470 Liberty money line, and plus 400 LSU money line yesterday. And my man still can't buy some better internet. I mean, I don't know what's up with that, but.
All right. Okay. You listen. A broken clock is right twice a day. So I guess you're. the fact that your internet bugs every single weekend and mine does it once in like 10 weeks.
I got to get my shots back when I can,
Yeah,
bro.
you gotta take your swings when the when the giant is down.
Yeah, your guard's down. I'm swinging.
So back to when we're talking about the dog catcher and we're talking about the model and its ability to predict these dogs, it's actually got Jacksonville winning this game. So I know Raider Nation doesn't want to hear that. I had to check twice to make sure it was correct, but the model says what the model says. Now it's not foolproof. Don't take that and just run with it. But
yeah, there's going to be a couple that are wrong every week.
Yeah, 6-3 overall in the last 3 weeks, straight up. Like this is picking underdogs straight up with the money line, 6-3. So like the units, I got to go back and look and actually compute the units the way that you do with all of our other plays. But I've just been looking at this from the standpoint of like, does it pick the game right and does it pick the game right against the spread? But I haven't actually been doing the numbers on the juice and everything to see what factors in there. But and Jay Pylon says he's got the Jaguars too. So there you go. The Gematria gang has the Jaguars as well. So there you go. Hey man,
he's posting a pretty solid record right now.
Yeah.
Check that out. Whew. 30-6. Solid.
Mm-hmm.
What's the 36 mean? That's what I need to know next. You're 30-6 going into this Sunday. What we got on the 36, Jay? But yeah.
Well, it is week 9, so you know.
Ooh, there you go. There you go. See, yeah. Always something, huh?
Yeah.
And we got 9 people watching. How about that, Chad?
That's right.
As you say it. What are the odds? But all right, one more play I have in this game that's official, and like I said, flip back and check out the other show we did on this game because we went way more in depth. We threw out a bunch of ideas, bunch of plays, bunch of good thoughts, and just overall game analysis that we did the other day. So check that out as well. Put it on 1.5 speed. You'll be done in like 10 minutes and get some ideas for where you want to put your money in this game. One thing I did mention on that show, though, my next pick for this game was Evan Ingram. So we got his receiving props now. We didn't have him at the time, but he said at over 38.5 receiving yards. This is what he was last week. And he cashed that shit first quarter. It was their first cash of the day, actually, in like 2 catches in the first quarter, first drive or something like that, maybe second drive. And they're still disrespecting him and giving him that number. So I'll take it again, -110 at BetMGM. I'll go back to the well. He's had 40+ in 6 out of 8 this season.
Right.
All 4 of his last 4, he's had 40+. And I'm talking like there's some 60+ in there and stuff like that too. He's averaging 13.22 yards per carry per catch in his last 4 games. So we only need about 3 catches here, and that's a cash.
Right.
So I'll take that. And like we were just saying, Las Vegas, I do have your answer here. Actually, it's funny. The question you asked, the answer is in the notes for this Evan Ingram play.
Okay.
The Raiders are 25th in passing yards per game allowed.
There you go.
So just like you were saying, I mean, they might overcompensate for that a little bit, but even with them overcompensating for that a little bit, I like the tight end to be the one that slips away in that. And I like them to soften up the coverages maybe a little bit to stay in front or stay behind, I should say, from that side of the field. But yeah, if they want to stay behind, they may soften up the coverage a little bit. And then that does not help with run support. So Travis Etienne for breaking one of these, it all makes sense. It lines up. And so I'm going to take both of those.
Yeah, and look, not for nothing. So the line has moved. It was Vegas 1.5 to open, and it has moved now to -2.5. So I like this pick even better. Jacksonville plus the 2.5, and even Jacksonville straight up. They're playing at home, and it's not to say that's not to say that like Jacksonville is dominant at home. But I'm going to show you just a little window into what things look like. So they lost to Washington on the road. They beat the Chargers on the road. They lost to Philadelphia on the road, and they lost to Indianapolis on the road. They beat Indianapolis 24-0 at home. They lost that squeaker to Houston by 7 points. They lost to the Giants by 6 at home, and they lost to Denver. And that's an improving Denver team. Like both of those games, the Giants and Denver, they had a chance to win both of those games and kind of blew it. I think at some point you've got to look at that 5-game losing streak and how many of those games were within like a possession of who's going to have the ball last. I think that this is the week that Trevor Lawrence actually gets it right and makes the plays that he needs to make. It's at least worth nudging that 2.5 and seeing what they can do. You may want to tease that to 3.5 so that you're bailed out by a field goal. But yeah, that's my pick for this week. And I think, to your point, the way that they do that is through the passing game, but then you're going to have some of that opened up soft coverage or soft interior defense with the draw play running game and the stuff with ETN that he does the best. Like that's his game. He is that proverbial third down back, but he's got that power to be an every down back as well. But he's got all those skills of a third down back where it's the speed and the quickness to be able to make plays in space.
Yeah, and especially if they get that going early, like if ETN if he gets going early, then I like Evan Ingram even better. Like both of these kind of play off each other. One of them hits first, then the other one hits next, like type of vibe. You know what I mean? Based on the defensive adjustments for each. So
yeah, you're because if you're probably if you're the Raiders, you're probably trying to keep the Joneses from beating you deep, and so that's going to open things up for Etienne and for Evan Ingram. Yeah, those seam routes and the stuff out in the flat, that drag, that's going to be the plays for Ingram. So yeah, I like it.
Yep. Yeah, I'm good with that. What else we got? Dolphins at Bears. What games do we have left?
Yeah, I'm trying.
There's like so little games that I'm like,
Falcons, Chargers.
Almost done.
Falcons.
Yeah, we
Chargers.
have Falcons, Chargers. We have Dolphins, Bears, and then we have the 2 4:00 games, and that's it. Wow.
I'm on the Falcons in this game. Another 2.5 point spread where the home team is a 2.5 point dog. I like the Falcons to win this game outright, but I like them definitely to cover that 2.5. This is the model that I'm looking at that predicts this stuff. So that's what I'm looking at. And then I'm interested to see what you have plays wise, because we're getting somebody back who's been gone for a minute. Cordero Patterson is back in the Falcons lineup. So what does that do to how you view this matchup and how you view some of these plays going?
Well, he's set at 40.5 yards. Mm-hmm. So that's the only prop we have for him in the rushing game actually right now. Set at 40.5 yards though, which I kind of like. You know what I mean? I think he hits that. It just depends on if they're giving him a bulk of the load or not at that point. Which the reports are saying that he's like 75%. So
yeah, I
don't know if I want to back it just because of that fact. I don't know how much they're going to give him the ball compared to the rook Algier. They might stick with him for a bulk of the carries and just try to ease Cordell Patterson back, because I mean the fact that they're even number one in their division right now is like, all right, we have a shot at the playoffs with this team.
Yeah.
So especially the Bucs lose today to the Rams, you know, I mean, and they got to win obviously, but this is the perfect game to win against the Chargers team who's completely banged up. You know, they got nothing. But in that case, it's like, all right, if I'm about to create some separation here in this division, I need my guy to be healthy later on. So maybe not throw him into the fire fresh off
err on the side of caution. Yeah.
And we were talking about this. We also did a show about this. So check that one out. Also, it's another 20 minutes about, you know, this game specifically where we really got deep. And shout out to Big Mike Rader. He was a guest on both of those episodes as well. He's been doing good with the bets and everything. But what I was going to say is we were talking about that in that show about Keenan Allen, about how we're going to maybe shy away from Keenan Allen just because we don't know if he's going to be just out there used as a decoy, how healthy he is. You know, if they don't want to throw him into the fire when he's fresh back. And then he ended up, he's ruled that anyway. He's not playing. But yeah, it's the same kind of thing with like Cordell Patterson. I don't want to necessarily back a high number. 40 isn't that high though. Like 40 is doable even on 30% carries, you know?
Yeah. No, and so to that point, what I was saying was like, what does he do to the rest of the plays? Like, not necessarily I'm looking at playing him, because I need to see a little bit of evidence of like who he is now that he's back. I'm just saying, like, him being back impacts. There's a ripple effect for the rest of the matchups prop wise.
Yeah, well, I mean, same in the same sense of me saying I don't know how many touches or how much
Right.
of a bulk or percentage of carries he's going to get. It's the same with Algier at that point because I
Hmm.
don't know if he's going to be the main guy or play the backup role again. So I don't want
Right.
to bet on him either. So we're taking him out. So it definitely takes him out of the equation also because I just don't know how to call both of these. Next week I'll be able to call it based on what they do today maybe. But
Right.
it's just it's too iffy, too up in the air. He got activated a little later in the week, like not late in the
Mhm.
week, but like Tuesday, Wednesday officially. So it's like I just don't know. You know what I mean? It's not like
Right. So if
but
you have him in the lineup though, and now you've even if he's just limited and he only gets 10 or 12 touches or something like that, he's on a pitch count. The fact that he's available now, that just gives you another weapon, and he's a really good one. He's one of the most. He's reinvented himself. Shout out to him. I mean, he's been in the league for a minute, and he's like a completely different guy from what he was when he first came in with
yeah,
Minnesota. But I'm looking at this matchup, and I'm seeing the Falcons at 5th in rushing yards, and the Chargers 27th in rushing yards, and I'm just thinking like this is one of those games where there's a great opportunity for the Falcons to lean super
yes,
run heavy now that they've got him back in the fold. Even if he is on a pitch count, you can pound the rock a little bit more than you could have without him in the lineup. And I just think it takes away from whatever you might have thought in the passing game outside of maybe Kyle Pitts. Like Kyle Pitts is the
yeah,
guy that I think you could see get some opportunities because now when you have the running game disparity in matchup as bad as it is right now with a really good run offense against a really bad run defense, you have to dedicate resources to stopping the run so you're not just getting ground to a nub over the course of this game. And what does
that's
that do?
true.
That opens up Kyle Pitts one-on-one with a linebacker, one-on-one with a safety. And I love him all day in that kind of matchup. So what do you see as
Okay.
far as Kyle Pitts?
So because of what you just laid out, I didn't even look into any Falcons passing game props. I mean, I
Mm.
actually probably never do unless I'm looking at Kyle Pitts.
Right. Well, I mean,
So
it's a safe assumption, right?
right. But now I'll look at it live and we'll talk through it a little bit.
All
So for
right.
catches, you got Kyle Pitts at 3.5 minus 120. You're not eating too much juice for 4 catches. That's pretty solid across the board between all the
Mhm.
books. What was that? Catches, then yards, 40.5. Not asking for much again. That's also consistent throughout all the books. And then for the longest catch, 17.5. I mean, I don't hate those at all. That could
Mhm.
hit. And bringing it back to Patterson real quick, like that 40 could hit even on a pitch count. Like I
Yeah.
completely agree in this matchup.
Mhm.
It's a perfect matchup for it. Perfect
Mhm.
matchup to bring him back and kind of ease him into some stuff too. You know what I mean? But nothing I want to back on the Falcons side, even though I do think the Falcons probably win. I just feel like there's too much variables about all right, who might get the ball. Because if they have success running the ball, they're not going to pass at all. So
Mhm.
I don't want to risk, you know, four of Mariota's 13 passes going to Kyle Pitts. You know, if I can avoid that, I will. So I'm actually looking at the Charger side of things. I think Chad might have just froze up on us again. Yep. So I'm looking at Austin Eckler, but damn, oh Chad's back. Cool. Because I needed.
I got my
Okay.
internet back. I got
All
my
right,
internet
let's
back.
go. Let's
Let's
go.
go. And now I
Load
can pull some
FanDuel up.
shit up. Now I can pull
Hell yeah.
FanDuel up. Holy shit. Oh God, give me a second here. Bro, this is like I couldn't even
So
see
when
you. Like you were frozen on my screen. I don't know what I looked like. I have no idea, but it was
you were for the most part moving and everything, but now you're frozen again. Guy got new internet, now it's frozen again. No, I don't know. It's something's been going on where Chad lives. Like he lost the internet yesterday and everything too. It's
yeah,
yeah.
it's
I'm just busting his chops because he's always busting my chops about the
we
internet.
got some wires getting messed with or something in the neighborhood because it's been a struggle the last couple of days. Thankfully, I got to watch the entire LSU Alabama game last night, relatively uninterrupted. But it's that was fun. So all right, so here we
So
go.
I'm
Let me
glad you're here
pull up.
because I want to flip over to Austin Eckler's side, the
Let's
Charger
go.
side of
Yeah,
things.
let's do it. Let's do it. Let me
Because I
pull
don't
up
know what
the.
I want to do, right? Or do we just do all of these? Because we could take.
Right.
I mean, seriously, we could take
I'm not.
receiving yards.
I'm not even
We
going
could
to
take
argue with
receiving
you.
yards at 51.5 at minus 113. we could take his catches at 7.5, or I think they moved down to 6.5 with some juice. It was 7.5 with plus 125 before, but all the books moved it down to 6.5 with some juice eaten. So we can play that, or we can play 2 touchdowns.
Okay, wait. So you gotta, because I was pulling it up. So what are we looking at? So Eckler, and what are we in rushing props?
Oh hell no.
50. Oh, no, you're in receiving, right?
Yeah, no, but
yeah.
Pretty much Eckler in anything, but just not rushing because I don't trust them to stick to it if it comes down to it. You know what I mean? Like you said, like 36 and 27 rushing yards in games. I don't want to play that, but
6.5 receptions is plus 102.
Oh wow! So last night
on FanDuel,
7.5 over 7.5 at plus 105 was the only plus money you could get for that.
Wow.
6.5 was at like minus 120 or something. So yeah, so I like that at that value there. But then you got to think, like, if he's going to get 7 catches, he's getting 52 yards, right? So you might as well play that too, right?
Yeah, right. Like, so.
And then you get to the point.
Parlayable, is it? Is that you can't parlay?
No, not with the
together.
catches. Not on FanDuel, but you can on other books.
On other books, yeah.
So I might do that. Actually, good idea. But then you got the question of Eckler 2+ touchdowns plus 370 on FanDuel. Like all 3 of those. Where else do the Chargers go? Now, I know I said this Thursday night, and I got the Texans wrong, but listen, all right, buddy, this is the first time I tried to cap a Texans game in my entire fucking life, so my bad.
So, all right, so I'm just gonna throw this out there. I think Eckler could hit 52 yards on 5 catches.
That's what I'm saying.
So I'm going with if I'm parlaying this, I'm going with this right here, which is Eckler over 51.5, Eckler 2+ touchdowns at plus 603.
Yeah.
So since we've been doing this, let's just do a $10 bet. $10 bet. We get $60 returned to us, 70 total because you get your $10 back. You know, no, I don't hate it at all. It's a beautiful thing. So yeah, I was thinking about it. You could, since we're in this contest together now, I kind of think of things in this way. You could just do an anytime touchdown play with him and parlay that for plus 171. And that's real good money because this contest, the rules are every play has to be between minus 150 and plus 300. So you can't do any of these crazy, and you can only do 2-leg same game parlays and no multi-game parlays. But that's the one where I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, like that's in that realm where it's legal for the contest, but it's also, I think that's like really good money. And then you're not sweating that second touchdown.
That second touchdown, yeah. So I mean, even as just a regular bet for the purposes of this show, that might be the smarter play. Like I was thinking about taking Eckler 2 touchdowns straight, just like I was thinking about Aaron Jones. Just because of these matchups and stuff. Like if you think about it, the Falcons defense, they're 28th in touchdowns allowed per game. They allow 3 per game. Yeah. Eckler has hit 2+ in 3 of his last 4 after not scored in the first 4.
There you go.
And who else do they go to? So when the trend is 3 out of the last 4, you're hitting 2, and you're getting that exact stat at plus 370, and then you add in the factor of everybody being out of the game for the Chargers. Right. I think that's not a bad play. I mean, who else do they go to when they get down close to the red zone, when they're in scoring position, when they need a score? Who else do they go to? Because I do agree with you guys that the Falcons keep this close and maybe even win it, at least cover. But
right.
But the Chargers are going to do something on offense, you would assume, you know.
Yeah. So here's something I was putting together, and do you see the difference in like how my energy is when I have like access to this stuff, and I'm not like I felt like Helen Keller over here. I couldn't see anything, I couldn't hear anything, I couldn't do it. I was just like, I don't know what to do. All right, so when we do this stuff where we have like $10 bets and $25 bets, right? So if you wanted to do this, and I'm just doing this as like a units thing, all right? So let's do it this way. Let's say we do $10 and $5 as our 1 unit, 2 unit type deals, let's go that way. So $10, and you can multiply everything off of this index, right? $10 wins you $17.16 on Eckler over 51.5, Eckler anytime touchdown. All right. Now, what you could do is you could take that and then you could say, all right, and then I'm going to also play $5 on Eckler 51.5 and 2 touchdowns. Now, the one bad thing here is you could get hosed if that 51.5 doesn't hit. You could lose both of them. But we're talking about 1.5 units here and the potential to win 4.7 units from it. So you have a chance to actually quadruple your money, because that's just your profit. You have a chance at a 300% ROI on this 1.5 unit play. And I think that's, like, to your point, instead of putting it all on one or all on the other, split it up and give a little smaller bet.
And if you only want to risk a unit, you could go 5 and 5. You could
5 and 5.
You could go half and half. So put it back in where you're going half on the one touchdown. If you go a half unit on both, and you just do 5 and 5, you're getting your money back even off of the first one hitting after he scores the first touchdown. If the yards hit.
Yeah, close enough. So if you're at 5 and 5, then you get $8 back or whatever.
And you're not eating too much juice on that receiving yards prop by itself either at -113. So you could also take that straight also as a hedge in case he doesn't get in the end zone. Now, you could go a half unit on that parlay, a quarter unit on, or you could go a quarter unit on the parlays, a half unit on the receiving yards alone. If you're spreading it out that many ways, you got to go over a unit probably. But
yeah, check it out. Eckler 2 touchdowns. Eckler 2 touchdowns and 40 yards.
Yeah, see,
so alt yards
even better.
2 touchdowns and 40 yards is plus 493.
Not bad at all.
So you're getting most of that from the touchdowns, right? Because
he probably hits like 70 though. Like, that's the thing. Like, what's 60 receiving yards for?
Well, right. So then you could go even further. You could go 60 yards instead, and now you're looking at plus 715 for that play. So yeah, I like it. And to be honest, like what we have done, if you look at these plays, so it was Jamar Chase 100 yards and 2 touchdowns, right? It was King Henry with 150 and 2 touchdowns. Go big or go home. If you're going to do a 2 touchdown play, like you said with some of these parlay bets, you might as well go for the big number, because if the 2 touchdowns come, one of those is probably going to be a 30-yarder.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Well, we're talking about receiving too, because he could also break a 30-yard rush. But this Falcons run defense isn't as bad as their pass defense. Their pass defense is horrible. The Chargers run or pass offense is great. Run offense is bad. The thing is, so what I think I like the most here is maybe a half unit on that 1 touchdown, 51 yards regular line, and then maybe go for it all, like you said, with the other half unit, which is 2 touchdowns and 70 yards.
70 yards.
Juice it up. You know what I mean?
Go to 70 instead of 60.
Yeah, go for it all.
We are at plus 917.
So run the numbers again about what you net if only the 1 touchdown hits and the regular line. Like how you did before.
So we're at so file this away. File this away. $45.87 on a $5 bet. All right. That's our 9-1 play. All right. So I cleared that. Now let's go to receiving yards and Eckler 51.5. That's the straight bet at -110. That's still that's good. That's not too bad juice, And then anytime touchdown. So we're just doing anytime touchdown, right?
Yep.
That's 171. So that's $5 gets us 858. So if this one hits, and the other one doesn't, we're only down $1.42.
Which is barely any unit,
whatever
units you're using there. That means you're barely losing 0.2.
It's well worth. That's well worth the investment if he hits both of them.
Exactly.
If he hits both of them, now you've
Oh shit! Chad froze.
I
think what he was gonna say is, oh, go ahead. You're here.
I froze.
Yeah,
no, I'm straight.
We didn't catch the end of that.
I was just saying, if it hits, you 10x your money.
Yeah,
if
exactly.
They both hit.
Yep. That's what I thought you were gonna say. That's what I was gonna say for you.
So let me look into this Kyle Pitts thing though too, because that's one. So let me look at the Kyle Pitts. So plus 260 anytime touchdown. Thinking in the same vein, right? So I'll do like a regular, but I'm going to go with like an alt receiving yards, and I'll go with like this 40 yards and a touchdown.
Shout out
That's
to Joe Biden's crime bill. He said Hotep and bet on the
bet on
NFL. Hell
NFL.
yeah.
There you go.
Hotep
That's
and
right.
build, Hotep and get money. You know what I
That's
mean?
right. So plus 407 for Pitts anytime touchdown and 40 yards receiving. So if I wanted to just take the touchdown out and just go with that, I actually like this as a play, 40 yards receiving, because I think that the focus being on Cordero. Let's think through this. All right. Again, assumption of rational coaching. They should pound the rock. They should pound the rock. They should pound the rock. But your opposition is thinking rational coaching as well. They're thinking, you know what? They're going to try to pound the rock on us because they got Cordero Patterson back. They've got this stable of running backs. They've got a great run defense. We suck defending the run. So all it takes is a couple of play action passes where they suck a linebacker up and Kyle Pitts is one-on-one with a safety or one-on-one with a linebacker that he can outrun, and you're going to hit this. He needs like 3 or 4 catches, and he hits this. So I like that, and I actually might go to the window with this one as an official contest play because it's in that range, and I think it could hit pretty easily here today. Just because of the fact that the matchup is so skewed in favor of the Falcons on that rushing offense versus defense matchup that I think it dictates that you use the tight end, because if they use Kyle Pitts, it helps their running game. And if the running game is effective, it helps Kyle Pitts. It's the perfect mesh for them to be effective. And I like to see Kyle Pitts like keep this momentum that he's been building here lately. So that's all I got for this one. How many more matchups do we have left to go through before we get into our – okay. All right, so we did Patriots, Colts. We did Vikings. Oh, Bears, Dolphins. That's the one.
Bears, Dolphins.
So we hit last week on the long reception or the long pass completion for Tua, and that was beautiful. We missed barely on a couple of plays for Justin Fields. We had I say we blame Justin Fields for them or the Bears coaching staff, because we should have had another field goal and we didn't get it because they kept scoring touchdowns, and we should have had more. Right. We should have had more rushing attempts, but we didn't because they kept throwing the ball and they were actually successful. But I will say this, like that Bears team, they're actually starting to kind of come into their own a little bit. Yep. And you look back at some of the wins that they've had this year, that win against San Francisco looks kind of interesting now. And I'm not saying that this is a team I'm going to bet on making the playoffs. I wouldn't be surprised though if they are like 2 weeks out of the playoffs, if they're still mathematically, alive, where they might need some help. But we could be talking about the Bears where if the Bears win this game and then so-and-so loses that game, the Bears are in, and they could sneak in, I'm just saying. Like,
it's possible.
Yeah. Well, with the expanded playoffs now, like it's not just 6 teams anymore. That 7th team is always a threat to be one of these teams that no one had tabbed before the season started. So let's dig into it and let's see what you got. I have this team, or I have this game with Miami covering the 3-point, it's 4.5. Miami covering the 4.5. I think it's going to be tight, but I think they can cover it.
So I took,
even though I said that good stuff about the Bears.
I took the over because of those good things you said about the Bears. I took that earlier in the week on the early pick show. So that's not for the purposes of the record of this show or anything, but from our early pick show, I did take the over because I think it's going to be not necessarily a shootout, but 45.5 seemed a little low. I think I locked it at 44.5 actually. But yeah, so I think there's going to be some offense and some scoring here. So I definitely agree with what you're saying. They're game planning. The Bears are game planning in a good way for Justin Fields for him to be successful. Right. And that just started a couple weeks ago, and we've seen the fruits of that labor already. It's working a little well for them. And we can see them, only getting better from there. Now they've got a foundation and they're actually running a good game plan for them. But it's funny you started off talking about this game about how we hit on Tua turn the ball over's longest pass last week with this Miami offense. It's funny you say that because I'm going Raheem Mostert longest run today.
Okay.
Over 15 and a half yards, minus 110 on BetMGM. Not sure what it is on FanDuel at the moment, but I'm putting over 15 and a half yards at minus 110.
Minus 114 on FanDuel, but we got you.
We
Got
ride
you locked in.
nonetheless.
Yeah.
If you can't get on BetMGM, that's not bad either.
FYI, I know I always write this stuff down and I have the record and I send you a picture of it. I don't have that today because
I got it.
I was dealing. All right, so hopefully you have it and you can send it to me. Yeah, thank you so much.
No problem.
My apologies, folks, but the ISP was just conspiring against us this morning. But I like that. I like it's a Bears defense that you look at some of the games they played recently, and they gave up big chunk yards. And I know Raheem Mostert isn't Tony Pollard or Ezekiel Elliott or some of the other guys that they faced recently, but the Bears have given up some of these long rushing plays. So I could totally see it. And I know we've been on Herbert the last couple of weeks, getting some stuff going for the Bears offense, but I like that you're kind of switching it up here. And what do we have in terms of rushing matchups, Miami versus Chicago, that makes you lean this way?
Well, I lean this way because one, the Bears are 27th in yards per carry allowed. They allow 5 yards per carry as it is, 27th in the league, like I said. And they're also 31st in rushing yards per game allowed. So while the Dolphins are not necessarily a running team, they've been feeding Raheem Mostert a lot more lately, and it's been successful for them. And I think it opens up lanes in the passing lane. And, if the defense focuses on that a little bit, they know that they can get, that speed on the outside going. But that's part of the reason why I like this. First of all, Raheem Mostert has hit this in 3 of the last 5 games that they played. We saw what Tony Pollard did to the Bears defense last week with those long runs, so we know that the Bears are not the best tackling team. We know they're not the best rush defense by far. Actually, we know that they're one of the worst rush defenses in the NFL right now. And this is just a perfect matchup versus this Bears run D, because they're okay in the passing game, but that's pretty much on paper. Like, that's because of the matchups they played. They played, same story. They played the Giants. They played the, whatever. It's the same story as the Packers passing defense. They played a bunch of teams that don't pass the ball, so their pass defense looks good. With all that speed outside, they got to focus on that speed outside, and they know that they're not the best pass defense, and they know they're a bad run defense. They can't necessarily stack the box because then Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle just kill you, and you're not going to stack the box against the Dolphins anyway. You're going to play some soft zones, some soft coverage.
No, you can't.
Try to keep everybody in front of you.
Right.
And that's where Raheem Mostert takes a draw play, like we said about Travis Etienne. That's where he takes a draw play or takes like a little handoff up the middle, and the linebackers are focused on, getting those drag routes and everything, and you break a tackle or two, and you're busting 16 yards. And all we need is 16. He's hit this in 3 out of the last 5. So I like that.
When you, as I process it and I think of trying to track down, because I watched this last night, the LSU Alabama game. You had some very similar stuff going on where a lot of really talented, quick, fast receivers, and like Jahmyr Gibbs for Alabama and Kayshon Boutte and Malik Neighbors for LSU. What they did was they opened up some of those runs because linebackers are having to follow these drags, these crosses all over the field, and you don't want these little speedsters to get a step. And so you might be a little hesitation late on filling your gap to try to stop the run. And all it takes is you just need like a blink of an eye, and you make one guy miss, and 15 and a half ain't nothing. That's easy money.
For the starting back. And Raheem Mostert is a fast player. Yeah, he's a speed guy. He's not like a power back necessarily.
Right.
So he he gets to the outside. He can get those extra 8 yards that we're going to need from him.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to go out on a limb. If there was a way to put into your prop bet like where you thought the run would be, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that I think this game, this long rush actually comes up the middle of the field between the hashes.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
Like he does have that ability to break it outside, but I could totally see this being him getting through the line on a draw or on a counter or something like that, where the he just finds that hole and hits it and then makes one linebacker miss because they're a hesitation, just a hair late.
Well, the speed helps up the middle too.
Absolutely.
I only said break one outside with the speed just because that was like just the first thing I thought of. Like it could easily happen up the middle too. I definitely agree with you on that. With Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle running those drag routes and crossing each other, linebackers looking around, little draw play, 20 yards. We need 16. You know what I mean?
FanDuel, do better. I need a prop on where the run occurs, so I can get plus 350 on this play instead of just plus one or minus 114.
Oh yeah, inside the hashes, outside the hashes, on the numbers. Yeah, we need all those
left,
like
right.
the first basket score.
It's coming, bro.
Those options now for first basket in the NBA.
Exactly, it's coming.
Hey, they're watching. They keep. By the end of we'll have a parlay by the end of this that FanDuel takes and runs with it. So we know they're watching. So maybe they'll add that for next week.
No shit. Like if they actually throw up a parlay where it's like plus 350, Raheem Mostert 15+ yard rush up the middle, I'm gonna be like, oh my god, they're definitely watching the show. Holy shit! Because last week they snuck us with one of our plays.
Yeah, I think Chad's leaning the Dolphins.
I favor the Dolphins, and I favor the Dolphins against the spread in this one, Jay.
But he was just saying all those nice things about the Bears because we spent the first 4 weeks shitting on them. So now they're they look like they're
playing better.
They look like a competent offense now. So
they're playing
just
better,
giving them some credit where it's due,
Yeah, they're playing better, but if you look at what they did last week against Dallas, it was now let me. So where is this one? This is at the Bears. That makes it a little bit more interesting. But I don't know. Like I can't. It's hard for me to argue that Dallas's strength doesn't come from their defense, and that their offense is not anywhere close to as explosive or as potent as Miami's is. I think Miami has a more potent offense. So I think this could be one of the. I love your overplay here because that's even though it's a decent sized number, I still like that play.
Yeah, but because I took the over, that means that the Bears are going to score 0 like last week with the Raiders. And
the Raiders,
so,
yeah.
It
happens, man.
I say it every week, but I'll say it again. I'm much better with these player props than I am on the over-under sides. That's why I don't talk about them too much, but I'm feeling the over in this one.
Well, and I don't even trust
these player props, obviously.
I don't even trust my eyes when it comes to picking sides either. So generally speaking, my sides I have started to come purely from this model because I don't even like yesterday when I was doing the college stuff.
I'm going to be right back. So just finish this up and then you can start the Seahawks Cardinals game next if you want.
Word.
Yeah, I'll be right back, bro.
So
shit.
Damn, you took me off. This fool took me off the screen so he could go do whatever he's got to do. Anyway, so check it out. So yesterday I did the thing with the model, picked all these college games and everything, picked Liberty to beat Arkansas, picked Michigan State to beat Illinois. I got to look at it again to see what the other big one was that we hit, because we hit a couple. I picked Florida to beat Texas A&M. Picked some other ones early in the week, like Ball State, Coastal Carolina, and Central Michigan as well. And then later on, let's see what was, but those were the big ones. And then we had the LSU play. I didn't actually play the LSU play. AG did. Shout out to him for doing that because I have a thing. I'm not superstitious, but I am a little bit stitious. I have a really hard time betting LSU money line when it's a game that's as big and important as that one. I felt like there was a slight chance. I didn't feel really good about it, but it's just, I think it's PTSD from just getting, mud hole stomped for a couple of decades by Nick Saban. And so I stayed away from it. I think I took LSU plus 7.5. I teased it down there so I could get a little bit better money for it, but nothing crazy. So when I think about the point I was getting at is, it's really cool to take something like that removes your emotions from it because it's all mathematics at that point. And so when I put the bets down, like I do with these, when I'm picking a side in the NFL now, I just look at my model and I'm like, all right, so this thing picks underdogs 6-3 straight up over 3 weeks, like roughly 3 a week. I think I have 4 this week. So I'm just going to throw this out there while we're waiting for AG to come back. The underdogs that my model has chosen that are Vegas underdogs, but my model actually favors. When that happens, in that scenario, those games are 6-3 straight up and against the spread. So it looks like whenever a team loses, they don't cover the spread either. But when they cover, they win straight up. And that's big because when you're talking money line and you're talking, getting plus 125, plus 150, plus 148, plus 175 for some of these, depending on how big the spread is, that's a big number. So the ones that are where the favorite by Vegas standards should actually be the underdog, they are as follows: Atlanta over the Chargers, straight up and against the spread. Jacksonville over the Raiders, straight up and against the spread. Seattle over Arizona, straight up and against the spread. And then the Rams over Tampa Bay, straight up and against the spread. So I've got 4 of them this week. That model is 6-3 straight up and against the spread over the course of the last 3 weeks. So it's just something to look at, that those, you could play each of those straights money line. And even if you only go 2-2, you're still going to make money because you're getting plus money on all of them. And so you're going to get, if you lose two units, you're going to make up 2.5 to 3 on the other side. So you're always going to be, a half a unit or 3/4 of a unit or maybe even a full unit ahead. And Jay Pylon says he picked those 4 teams to win as well. So look, you got a little, I don't know if that's good or bad. Sometimes I think when we all start agreeing with each other, sometimes it's a bad omen.
Fucks the mojo up.
It could, it messes the mojo up. There's got to be some disagreement at some point. But I don't know. Like maybe this, we found the one unique opportunity where it all points in the right direction. There were a lot of people who were with me on that Liberty call yesterday, but I think most of those people were looking at Liberty to cover that big number. And I don't think a whole lot of people actually had the faith that I did that Liberty was actually going to win that game straight up. I was really feeling myself when they were up 21-0. Yeah, when they were up 21-0 in the first half, I was like, this shit is over.
Actually, yeah, Chad's talking about other people not having faith in him. He cashed out his own bet on that pick. You got pretty much the same number anyway. It was not a bad idea. At the point,
Arkansas,
you want to talk about faith? You cashed out, brother.
Listen, at the point, Arkansas was driving with the ball. And I'm saying, like, I had the faith before the game to actually bet.
I let that shit ride the whole fucking way. Whistle to whistle. First whistle to last whistle.
Yeah. So it was a $25.
Thank you, by the way. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. $25 bet that I could have gotten $137 like AG did, but instead I only got $113 because I cashed it as Arkansas was driving. And look, not for nothing, they that replay goes a different way, and it's a tie game going into overtime, and I didn't want to risk it. All you really did was eat your my buy-in.
The bet you made, which you were risking anyway. So
right.
I mean, I hear you. You still profited what you were going to profit. So
that's right. So I'm okay with it. Yes, you can call me a chicken, call me whatever you want. But yeah, so I just wanted to break down for everybody how I go about these sides. And so what I was getting at is I can put those bets in there, and then I just don't even, like, at that point I'm not emotionally invested anymore, because it's not about me trusting my judgment of the eye test or any of this other stuff. I just let the model speak, and when the model speaks, I go with it. I do like, though, I want Matthew Ackman's pick on Washington, and I think did Jay say he had the Vikings or Washington in that game?
I don't think he gave anything for that one yet.
Yeah, because he said Commanders. He said his pick is the Commanders, and I'll go back to my model. My model does not account for Taylor Heineke, and like I got to go back and look and see like how much they have improved in terms of their power ranking over the last couple of weeks since he's been at quarterback, and if it's gotten that much better. Because if it has, then we're talking about like a changing dynamic of what the value and what the quality of that team is when it comes to the model. But the model is just, it is what it is. It's not, you do have to extract some of this stuff out. Like with my college model, it favored Syracuse to win over Pitt. I knew better than that because I know that Garrett Schrader was out. Kansas, Oklahoma State, it favored Oklahoma State. I saw what happened last week with Oklahoma State, and then I also saw that Jalen Daniels was potentially coming back for Kansas, and so I pulled back on that one too because I was just afraid, like, Kansas is a completely different team with Jalen Daniels than they are without him. So there's some of those things where you have to like use your your judgment and what recent news is. If you've got a game where the model favors Buffalo, but Josh Allen is out, you think I'm still favoring Buffalo? You know what I'm saying? Like, so you got to be smart about it. It's
if they're
part
playing
of a
the fraudulent
breakfast.
5-3 Jets, maybe.
Yes, right. But it's part of a balanced breakfast. It is not the whole breakfast. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
And welcome. Thank you for joining us for breakfast on this beautiful.
Hey, while we're still on this game, real quick, you mentioned Khalil Herbert. I did take a look at Khalil Herbert's rushing attempts.
All right.
Because they've been trying to even him up with David Montgomery, it seems.
That's
he's
true.
having way more success than David Montgomery is. And I think they're starting to see that he fits the offense a little better. There was a lot of trade talks around the trade deadline because they were thinking, oh, maybe they'll offload David Montgomery too, because it's not really working in this system right now with Justin Fields, the offense they're running. But I think having both of them is the better play for the Bears, so I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah.
But
it helps him in the red zone for sure. Yeah, 9.5 and minus 130.
He's too juiced up. I'm good on it then. Yeah, I'm good.
I'm gonna pass.
I wanted to mention it though because I was looking at it last night.
Yeah.
But minus 130. Well, let me check if anywhere else is worth even thinking about it further.
Yeah.
It's not even worth thinking about it at minus 130. No. Especially because David Montgomery could just they could just go right away from all that and give Montgomery 15, 17 again, like he had.
Yeah. I mean,
but if you think about how close it is.
Yeah, game script could screw you though, because if Chicago somehow gets out to it, they're playing at home, and I don't shy away from that.
Minus
stuff. Like
30 is the best number you're getting. It's over for that. But go ahead.
So if Chicago gets out to a lead and they're up 10, 14 points, and then they just start pounding Montgomery because he's that workhorse guy,
right?
Then you could just game script your way to like
Khalil's the spark guy.
Yeah, you get 7 carries out of Khalil Herbert. He gets you may even get screwed over by Khalil Herbert. He might break off a 65-yarder that gives them a touchdown, and he's at 7 carries, and he doesn't touch the rock the rest of the game.
He hits every other one of his lines except that. Yeah,
right. So
I'm staying away. I was gonna stay away anyway, but I did want to mention it because they do seem like they're trying to even that count up a little bit. So it's something to look at moving forward. Also, maybe a game that provides a little bit of a better script for it and stuff like that.
For sure. Yep.
But and we'll see where the books keep putting it because they got David Montgomery at 12.5 and Herbert at 9.5. So it's like the books are seeing it. So we'll see as that gets to like they're both at 10.5. Maybe we think about playing Herbert on the low key play.
Right. So where's our next game?
I think we just got the 4:00 games left. The two lonely 4:00 games. I'm about to pick up a shift at work tonight. If that's the case, like we only got 2 games to watch.
Seattle, Arizona. I told y'all already. I'm on Seattle. I like this money line plus 108 play here. And I'm putting that in. I'm going to shop for a better money line to see if I can get more bang for my buck. But that's going to be one of my official contest plays for the Cappers contest that I'm in. I finished 4th last week. I was very disappointed. Aaron Jones got screwed on some receptions, but it's neither here nor there. And Mason Crosby sucks. If you could just make a field goal, I would have finished in 3rd place and actually won $200, but it wasn't meant to be. But we motor on, and he says his pick. Jay says his pick is the Seahawks. So me and Jay, I'm a little worried. We are on. I think we're every game we have the same. So I don't know. What do you think? What do you got for this one?
This game, I don't know if I should go back to the well with DeAndre Hopkins catches again. They had him listed last night at 7.5 for plus money. Let me check what they have it at right now because some of these lines are moving since last night. So I'm just double checking real quick. But DeAndre Hopkins, his first 2 games back, he's had 10 catches and 12 catches, and we hit on his over both of those times. I think the first week back he was set at 6.5. The next week back he was set at 6.5 again. Actually, I think both at plus money. I think if I remember correctly, and we hit both of those. We were all over that. But it's just like, do I go for him to get 8 catches 3 weeks in a row? You catch any of that, Chad? Because I have a question for you on this game.
No, I had to step away for a moment.
You're good.
We've been on the air for an hour and 45 minutes, and my bladder said it's time to take a break. So anyway,
So DeAndre Hopkins, we've smashed him the past 2 weeks with these catches. He's at 10 and 12.
Chill, bro.
Sheesh. Here, I'll
Listen.
put myself.
All right, you can come back now.
I'm
It's
in
all good.
no, I'm in timeout for that one. I deserve that one.
That was awful.
So DeAndre Hopkins, we have been killing it betting his catches props. He has had 10 and 12 in his first 2 games back. They have him on points bet for over 7.5 at plus 105, but it's just like that streak's got to end at some point, right? He doesn't just get 10 every game this season. And this Seahawks defense, while they were like a laughing stock the first couple of weeks, they're actually top 10 in pass DVOA right now, which is they're trending in the right direction in that department. Hey, real quick, if you're new here, go hit that subscribe button. We do this every Sunday.
Yeah, every
and
Sunday.
We're also here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We got a bunch of shows, bunch of content coming out. We do
and
early lines, everything.
Thank y'all for coming in. Yeah, we appreciate everybody coming in. But so you're
just
saying
not
fade,
enough juice. I feel like not fade him, but
not fade him, but just avoid it because it's.
Well, I was going to ask if we
should. At this point.
Yeah, I was going to ask if we should go back to the well, but it's like that number. I don't know if it's worth it. Then you can go down to 6.5 at like minus 156 on FanDuel, minus 135 on BetMGM. Like, I don't want to take that. I don't want to eat all that juice either. So now I got to stay away from Hopkins a little bit. But I wanted to go to it.
Look at this.
I don't know.
80 yards is minus 130. You got to go to 90 plus to get to plus 118. Like it's
for Hop. Yeah. See, he's juiced up right now, so I'm gonna stay away from him. But we do have Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf in good positions here. What do you think about those guys?
If I'm leaning anyway, I'm looking this week at DK Metcalf. Now the thing is, who is Byron Murphy going to be on? Like that's the question. One. That's the question: is who's he going to be locking up? And is it going to be Tyler Lockett? I want to go DK Metcalf. The other thing is too, Metcalf is a different kind of dude. Like he's so big and strong that I just wonder. I wonder if it's not the better play, even if that's who's checking him. Because you remember, we were worried about Chris Olave a few weeks ago, and Olave went off. Because I even told my brother was asking me, he's like, "Hey, who should I go with? Should I go with Olave or should I go with this?" And I was like, "Bro, Olave is going to get locked up by Byron." No, he had a really good game. I think they're going to find a way to get DK Metcalf some touches, and I. 63.5 yards. I like that number. I actually like. So let me see. I'll just build a little quick prop play here. I may actually what I'm going to do if I'm going to do a parlay. I'm going to go alt receiving yards for Metcalf, and I'm going to tease it down to 50, so I can get a little bit easier money. It's minus 240 for that, but I'm going to go with 50 yards and a touch for DK. And that puts me at plus 177 because that's something I see being the case. I think Seattle's going to move the ball pretty well in this game, and I think that they're going to get several red zone opportunities. And DK Metcalf is a prime target in that space. So, what do you like about Tyler Lockett that makes you possibly lean that way instead? Or do you like?
I don't know if I like either of them really. Like, I mean. The game that they played against the Cardinals a couple weeks ago was ugly. Like, from all sides, really. It was 19-9. There was one touchdown scored in the entire game. It was Kenneth Walker. DK Metcalf had 2 catches for 34 yards. Tyler Lockett had 2 catches for 17 yards. Geno Smith didn't throw a touchdown, obviously. But it's like, I want to fade that. I want them to get theirs back in their second matchup with this team. You know what I mean? I feel like they oh shit, Jay's leaning DK Metcalf too. So I'm going Tyler Lockett on this one. Because you guys are agreeing on everything at this point. So
I don't know, man.
I guess I'll go Tyler Lockett based off that. But I don't know if I want to go either of them. Geno Smith's passing touchdowns intrigue me too, but the way this game was last week, I don't know. I don't really like anything. Nothing pops out to me to take an official play.
You ready for something?
Maybe rushing yards for Kenneth Walker. Go ahead.
Yeah, you ready? You ready for something? So, all right. So 19-9, in Seattle. You know how they are there and how some of those games go.
I know how Arizona is at home. Yeah.
Yes,
that's where you're getting at. Yep.
So listen. They gave up 44 to Kansas City. Naturally, Kansas City just lights people up.
Yeah.
They only gave up 20 to the Rams, but now, as we have seen what we have seen from the Rams, that's not surprising either. And I would argue that Seattle is up there with Kansas City in terms of offensive productivity this year. Seattle, they gave up 20 to Philadelphia, and that was a close game. And I have my thoughts on Philadelphia, and like that was thank God for Jalen Hurts having that running game that he has helping him out. But
that was like one of the few Eagles regression games there where they didn't play that well. And the second half issue, they had 17 of those were in the first half. So
exactly. Yeah. And then they gave up 34 to New Orleans with Andy Dalton. So I'm just looking at this and I'm saying, okay, if I'm looking back at that game, that 19-9 game in Seattle, I'm actually thinking flip the switch in the opposite direction for this game. And I think this becomes, I'm not going to say it's going to be a shootout, but I actually like this to be a pretty explosive game for these two teams. So I'm actually, I like this. I like this DK Metcalf play here, but I could also see just some straights where you don't.
What do you have up there? 50 yards and a touchdown?
50 and a touch for plus 177. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I might resort to just doing like a little half unit parlay for this game too, with where I juice down some of the lines. Because I'm not really liking anything straight, man. None of these numbers are giving me. I don't just want to back any of them. Yeah. Real quick though, Timothy Freeze in the chat, he said, "Happy Sunday to my fave props people. Appreciate you, bro, for tuning in." He said, "Stop hating on the Eagles, Chad. What does this team have to do, Chad? What do the Eagles have to do besides beat the Texans by 12?"
Yeah, beat somebody. Like their schedule's trash. It's all right. I know I'm not hating on you. I'm not hating on them. I'm just calling it like I see it, and I have not seen them do anything that warrants the hype. Granted, they're taking care of business, and
they are.
Championship teams take care of business, and they make it happen, and they beat whoever's put in front of them. I'm just saying, ain't that many people have been put in front of them that could give anybody a run for their money. So I'm not terribly impressed. So let's just so we can break this down. So they have their big win this whole season is that win against Minnesota at home in week 2. They beat Detroit and almost lost that one. They beat Washington, Jacksonville, Arizona, Dallas with Cooper Rush at quarterback, Pittsburgh, and Houston. I mean, this is, you want to talk about fraudulent. If they played some of the schedules, if they played the schedule Seattle has had to play, it might be a whole different story. So,
and Seattle's been playing through that schedule really well too.
Yes. So
speaking of them,
so that's all I'm saying with that. I do like this over, but I'm going to go back to something that we've talked about before, especially with. Ooh, wait, that was interesting. Why did I kill that? Oh, damn. Hang on. Let me get the.
Do you want to? Is this going to be one of your official plays? Should I mark this down on your list?
No. This is a parlay that I'm just kind of throwing together to see.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. Like, did you want to parlay that as an official, or are you just messing around a little bit?
I'm just messing around right now. So plus 314 is over 48.5. DK Metcalf anytime touchdown and DK Metcalf 50 yards. That's plus 314. No, I'm not doing that as an official play. I don't want to do it as an official play because what I was going to say is what I like about that over is I like it not as a pre-flop unless maybe you put a half unit pre-flop. But then what I'm looking for the John Ryan special, which is this game is 6-3 with 10 minutes to go in the second quarter, and I'm hitting the over. I'm playing this over the 48.5 because it's going to be juiced up to where like now I'm at plus 130 on that play instead of minus 114. And then I'm also looking at whatever it's down to, like 42.5, maybe 40.5 or something like that. I'm looking for some play early on this one to get better money on this over because I like this game to go over, but I like to look. We're about building bread, okay? And the way you do that is by being smart with it. So I'm not going to go out there and throw a bunch of money on this minus 114 and then have it be discounted halfway through the second quarter, and
Yeah.
I don't have that money to throw at it. I
Yep.
want to save some bullets so that I can pour them into the best bet. And
And
I
it's a
think the
perfect
best bet,
situation because
exactly
there's only 2 4 o'clock games. You're not going to be paying attention
right,
to too much. Like, you're not going to be distracted by other things going on. Like, this is one of those where you can like read this game and really watch it live and play it live very well because
exactly.
there's not much else to be playing. There's only the boring ass Rams and Bucks game that we have
right,
left to talk about.
right.
I'm gonna I don't know, man. I think I lean Lockett. I'm gonna lean Lockett. I'm gonna take
Okay.
Lockett. Should I take him for these yards
All right.
at
Let's see.
64 and a half, or should at minus 110, or should I take these catches at 5.5 for plus 104, 105? That's the question.
Oof.
That is the question.
I mean, I'm always the kind of guy who likes to lean money. So like I like the plus 104 better than the minus 110.
Yeah, I mean, he's
And
done 6 in 1, 2, 3,
I'll just give you
4
this one
out
though.
of 8 games. He's had 5 in 2 other ones, like 1 catch away.
Yeah.
He was a
Yo.
drop away last week.
Right. You only need 5 more yards to get this though. So you go Tyler Lockett 70 plus yards. That's plus 114.
114.
Yep.
But does he
I
get
know,
70?
it's an
though?
extra
That's
5
the question,
yards.
because he's
Yeah.
had a game. He's had games where he had 7 catches for 45.
Listen,
But
man.
he's also had 5 for 104. It's like,
Yeah. So listen. If you're willing to throw minus 110 money at 64
6
and a half.
catches.
No, at 64 and a half. No, the
Oh,
6
yeah,
catches.
yeah.
The 6 catches was actually the plus money play.
Plus 105, yeah.
Yeah. So if you're willing to throw minus 110 at 64 and a half yards, you're not going to do plus 114 at 69 and a
No,
half?
definitely. No. I would take that over the regular yards now that you put
Yeah,
that across my
right. That's
desk.
what I'm
But
saying.
now I'm still deciding between that and
Oh,
the
and the catches. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna you can go ahead and whatever else you want to talk about to wrap this game up or start the next one, but I'm just gonna look through a couple things that I just want to check my bases and
Yeah,
then
so
pick one of those.
there's the bets. It's 5.5 receptions for 104 and plus 104 and 70 plus yards for plus 114. And I understand. I think I would probably lean towards the receptions as well because I do think that Geno Smith is gonna find a way to get the ball to one of those two guys. And I think the guy who's most likely to be taken out of the game plan somewhat by Byron Murphy is DK Metcalf. Because if I'm Arizona, I'm not letting DK Metcalf just beast on us all day. They're going to have to get a couple of busted plays to get Tyler Lockett loose deep, and I'm willing to let them get him the ball short and play back and tackle him short of the line to gain. But that means that his receptions could be there. So that's the play for me too. I like that. So you ready to move on to the next game, or you still got stuff for this one?
No, yeah, we can move on to the next one. I'm gonna play the catches. There's been
I
a
think
couple.
that's the play. Yeah.
I'm looking through the Cardinals games right now. There's been a couple times where some receivers got to 6 catches and did not have that many yards. I mean, obviously, there's been times where they did hit it too. I just trusted a little more.
No, I feel you, and he's a perfect guy for that because as long as they're not letting him get deep, they'll be content to let him get those little short, intermediate receptions, and he can load up on them. So Rams, Buccaneers. I already told y'all.
What's my official number on that for Lockett?
Plus 104 for
104,
5.5 receptions. Yep. So I already told y'all I have the Rams. I like the Rams plus the 3, and I also like them straight up. This 132 money line. I'm going to look around to see if I can get a little bit better money on this one too. But this is going to be
I feel like I like the Bucks here, but
yeah, well,
I'm not going to go against you in the
The dog catcher says otherwise. So
holy shit, I'm definitely on the Bucks now. Jay Pylon's on the Rams. Dude, you two
either me and Jay, either me and Jay
crazy.
are going. We're running the table today, or we're going to be like looking at each other like I'm blaming you, and he's gonna be like, no, I'm blaming you. If it doesn't go the way that we want it to.
That's funny.
I'm not willing to take a side on this over under though, because I think this could go either way. These two offenses have been so putrid lately that I could see it very easily getting ugly. I will say this though, that Tampa Bay defense has not looked good. Like that once great Tampa Bay defense has not looked good this year at all against practically anyone except for that opening night win against Dallas. Um, the Rams defense, on the other hand, there's enough there where I could see the Rams actually um, stifling Tampa Bay, and Stafford with those receivers, it's going to be about who can run the ball. I think very possibly, but I think I just like the Rams to get after Brady a little bit more than I like the Buccaneers to give Stafford hell today. So that's why I actually like what the model says there. And also like that model is based on like strength of schedule, like several layers deep, so that you really know like the quality of who they've played and who they beat and the margins and everything there. So what do you like in this game, if anything? Are we going back to the Cooper Cup anytime touchdown well, or is it
That's your well.
Too dry?
I let you call those. That's your well right there. I've that's never been really my thing, just because it's always so juiced up. I mean, obviously,
it's
I
only
like taking it. I don't mind taking it. Yeah, hey, maybe it is time then.
Yeah,
huh?
minus 105. That's what I'm saying. Like it's looking attractive today. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. There's not really, like, you look at it, there's not a whole lot of like really really juicy plays until you get down into like some of the really ugly stuff, like Tampa Bay defense plus 700. Like, gee whiz, like Tyler Higbee at plus 330. I'm not even real gung ho about that because that's just not good enough. Like if it was plus 500, plus 600, I'd be all over it. But plus 330, that means for me to break even on that bet, I gotta bet like 4 Tyler Higbees and have one of them hit. And I don't know that 1 out of 4 hits. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just not there for me. So I don't like the anytime touchdowns except for Cooper Cup. But what do you got?
I'm looking at Chris Godwin. I think he'll have a good day. My bad. His catches are set at over 6.5 catches, minus 105. So we're not eating too much juice. He's had 7, 6, 6, 7, 6 in his last 5. I think they're going to keep going to him. You're going to have Jalen Ramsey on Mike Evans. Chris Godwin, I don't know how many yards he's going to get because he's not averaging a lot of yards per catch so far on the season, only 10 per catch. He's only had a couple games where he's hit the actually he's only had 2 games where he's hit the 65 mark that they're putting him at right now. But I'm going to take him for the catches. It's not juiced up at all, minus 105. I'll take that for 7 catches. I think Brady's got to keep going to him. He's his pretty much most reliable target. Obviously, Mike Evans is there, but like I said, he might be taken out of the game a little bit.
Yeah, so where are you getting the minus 105? Because I've got minus 113 on FanDuel. So
that's on minus 105 on BetMGM.
BetMGM. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, it's important, guys. Like this is like I can't stress it enough. I know you probably get sick of hearing it, but shop these lines. Make sure you get the best money. Look, AG and I are in this contest. Every time when it's time for me to submit my official plays for this contest, if I want Liberty plus 13 like I did yesterday, I went to 3 different sites and I got the one that gave me the best money, because why else would you do it? Like, why would I just, oh, look, it's plus 118. Let me hit it. No, I went and found plus 130, like, because those extra, 12 hundredths of a unit matter. So you got to make the most of your money.
Long-term profitability in this game, you got to get your numbers correct. Like, you got to get the right numbers, the best numbers that you can get. You know what I mean? Obviously, we're not making the numbers, so we can't choose it, but we can choose the best ones that are available.
Exactly. Assume you're buying something and like it's guaranteed to win. All right, if it's guaranteed to win, why would I take a bet that's like off by 12 cents? Like, what? Why? You do that enough. If you're betting $1 and you're getting 12 cents on the dollar extra automatically just by choosing the right platform, why would you not shop that around to try to get that extra 12 cents? That's over the course of a whole Sunday, you could probably save yourself 10, 12% easy just by shopping.
Yeah. So, no, 100%. 100%.
Anyway, so
that's all I got for the rest of this
Godwin,
game.
6.5. Okay. All right. So now let's get into the real nitty gritty. What do we got for our big shit? What's our big same game, multi-game, crazy AG parlay?
Real quick, I just want to go back to the Chargers game. I just want to clarify the numbers so we have it on record with the those Eckler parlays that we were going to do.
Yep.
I've decided. I think we're gonna do well. For me, what I'm recommending, what I'm saying for my official pick, for the purposes of keeping a record, keeping a count, and scorecard and
Yep.
everything.
Yep.
I've got I think I'm gonna do a half unit on Eckler for whatever his regular receiving line, which was
Okay. Which was 51.5. Yeah, 51.5.
all right. So Eckler 51.5 receiving and 1 touchdown is what?
Oh, so you're the parlay of that?
Yeah.
Okay, so hang on. Let me pull that up. Oh shoot! Anytime touchdown score 145. So that's plus 180. I think that might have actually gone up a little bit since we did
Yeah,
it
I did. I
earlier
think
this
since
morning.
it was like 170 or something. But
Yeah, it was 171 or
so
something.
now let's do Eckler at what was it? 70 receiving
Yep.
and 2 touchdowns.
Okay, so hang on. All receiving yards. Austin Eckler 70 as at plus 198, and then 2 plus touchdowns. Right? Is that where we're?
Yep.
That one is plus 945. That's up.
Yeah,
That's
so
up too. That was like 915, 912
yeah.
earlier.
So I'm putting the one total unit on both of those, a half unit on each. Now the beauty of it is if that first one hits, if he gets 52 yards receiving and a touchdown, the rest of it is free. We don't have to sweat it. We don't have to worry about it. We already actually made profit on Austin Eckler. Then if he gets to 70 and 2 touchdowns, now we're talking. Now we're talking real big profits. So that's why I'm going to play it that way, because I couldn't decide on if I wanted to take catches, yards, touchdowns, 2 touchdowns, 1 touchdown, whatever, So let's do it this way. Let's do it the smart way, smart money way, and let's try to cash out. Hopefully he gets both. That'd be huge.
All right, so I guess do we need to do? I guess we need to do the game tonight as well.
I don't have any official picks on it, but we can talk about it real quick if you want.
Yeah, let's just go into it real quick, because I actually have Baltimore winning and covering, even though they're playing in New Orleans, and that's like rare for me. Yeah,
I thought you were talking about the Sunday game.
That's Monday night. That's Monday Night Football. My bad. Yeah, my bad. That's say that for tomorrow night. I didn't say what I just said. Pretend like I didn't.
Tune in tomorrow night, and we'll tell you again.
Tune in tomorrow night, I'll tell you again.
Hit that subscribe button while you're here.
My bad. Titans, Chiefs. So this one, I like the Titans to keep it closer than the 11-point spread, or it's 12.5 now. It was 11 when it opened. So I actually think this is one of those where the model doesn't say take the Titans straight up, but I think you can. So I definitely like this this plus 12.5. Let me clear this. Hang on a second. I like this 12.5 Titans against the spread. I like it to be closer. I still have Kansas City favored in this game, but I think it's going to be closer. Jay, what do you got on the Titans Chiefs game? Because even though it's in Arrowhead, I actually have I have the Titans keeping this pretty close and possibly even pulling off the win. So what I would do for this one is, if I'm forced to take a side, I'm taking Titans plus the 12.5, and then I'm actually taking a sprinkle on the money line, and I'm dropping a little bit there, because at plus 450, if I put $5 on that, I'm making a lot of my bets pay off today. I don't think that happens. I'm with you, Jay. I think the Chiefs actually win this game, but I think sometimes it's worth dropping. If you're a $25 bettor, dropping $25 on this Titans to keep it close, and then drop in another $5, or maybe 20 and 5 on those two lines. So that's the way I play the sides with this stuff. Derrick Henry's healthy, and you saw what he did last week. And I'm not saying that the Chiefs are akin to the Texans when it comes to being terrible against the run, but they do enough. The only issue I see is, how's Malik Willis going to be in week 2 as the starter? Is he going to be able to catch anybody off guard? Is there enough film on him yet? But you gotta weigh that against. First of all, I don't think there's enough film on him yet to be able to really measure tendencies and see what you can do to exploit him and force him out of his comfort zone. There's going to be a little bit of that, but it's not a lock. but balanced with that is he's had another full week of taking reps with the ones. So I could see it being an interesting closer matchup than maybe we're led to believe. Do you have anything props wise in this one, AG?
Not like officially off the top of my head. I mean, obviously we can go back to the King Henry well. We can go back to the Travis Kelce well.
Yeah.
I just haven't looked too closely at this one yet, so I'm not gonna just throw out random random stuff. But I'm probably gonna do, as always for the Sunday night game, I'm probably gonna do a little same game parlay if there's stuff that I'm feeling. But props wise, this game is weird for me. I mean, Chiefs games are always a little weird for me. I don't like calling them because it's just their offense is so efficient that you never know who's gonna get most of the touches.
And it could be Travis Kelce gets 4 touchdowns and 25 yards receiving.
Exactly.
But it could also be Travis Kelce gets 115 yards and no touchdowns.
Yeah. It's like exactly because they're not selfish about who gets the touchdowns. They're not. A lot of these teams are like, all right, we can look at the Dolphins and say, okay, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are probably a good look every day. We can look at the Bengals and say, oh, Jamar Chase is out. Let's go T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, things like that. But the Chiefs team is like, who gets the ball is determined by like Patrick Mahomes, and that's it. Like they can go to anybody, well, and there's so much
Andy
space
Reid.
on the floor.
And Andy Reid is so good at looking at and finding if there's a matchup. I mean, for all we know, it could be Mecole Hardman. You know, like he's like this is our guy this week. You know,
but the day that I bet on Mecole Hardman, he's gonna get one catch. Like I hate calling Chiefs games, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'll try to call Andy Reid and before tonight, I'll try to get the inside scoop on like where he's going with the ball this week. But yeah, I'm with you on that. There are a lot of other teams that are way easier to predict. One of them is their opponent, Tennessee. I do think that you could possibly go to the Derrick Henry well, but I also think that more so than the Texans, if there's a defense that's capable of making the Titans one-dimensional and making Malik Willis prove that he can actually beat them, I think it's Andy Reid. Now, I'm not saying that he can't do it and that they don't have some wrinkles that they can possibly exploit to keep this game closer. That's why I kind of like the Titans to keep this game closer than what the line suggests. What I'm saying is I don't think that necessarily means Derrick Henry's going for 100 and a touch today. They could really limit Derrick Henry. He could have 23 carries for 64 yards and no touchdowns, but then the Titans still make this a 5-point game because they get 4 field goals and they get a defensive touchdown or who knows what. But like this is one of those games where I'm with you. Like I'm trying to probably stay away from this props wise.
Yeah,
unless I'm doing a big parlay where I'm going to throw $2 at it and it's like plus 11,000 or something like that, where it's crazy shit.
Or just where you're juicing stuff down a little bit, you know.
That too, yeah.
And I was gonna say also in terms of like straights, talking about straights and stuff. We don't have any lines yet out for rushing attempts, but that will be something I look at for Derrick Henry later on today when they do come out. I will be looking at Derrick Henry's rushing attempts because, like you're saying, Chad, I mean, they could force him to be one-dimensional. I get that, but that doesn't mean the Titans aren't going to stop trying. You know,
right?
So rushing attempts over yards in that case,
they're going to protect Malik Willis. They're going to be content to 3 and out and punt and play defense and not turn the ball over. You know, so I definitely that may be the wave. Yeah. That may be,
but it depends what they set his number at because then there's the blowout potential where they have to pass and things like that. So
right. Let's look at it just in case. Oh shit!
They don't
even have it. It's not even.
I just told you that they don't have any rushing attempts.
Oh, I didn't say. Oh, okay, I didn't hear you.
That's what I'm saying. They don't have it yet, but when they come out later, I'll be taking a look at it. So we just don't have any numbers yet.
Right. Okay, my bad. I thought you hadn't looked yet. Okay, so now let's get down to the nitty gritty here. What are we doing? What's our big lottery pick? Ticket, Powerball ticket.
You want to do our it's funny. Speaking of the Powerball, at work they've been doing pools. Like we've been pooling our money together and getting however many tickets, however many numbers, whatever. I don't know how that stuff works. I never did it before, but I threw $10 in the pot like last week for whatever we did. like I said, I have no idea what happens after
Yeah.
that. I just put my money down and make sure that they have me tallied off as pitched in. We're gonna like
Right.
split the winnings when we win it all, and then we're
Right.
all not gonna come to work or whatever. But the next
R.I.P.
day or like 2-3 days later, they asked me. They're like, "Oh, we're doing it again." I was like, "All right, whatever." So I put $10 in. Then 3 days later, they came and asked again. I was like, "Bro, this is the fucking third time I put money in here. We didn't win shit yet." I was like, "I'm putting my $10 to a fucking sports bet, and you know, like what." We ain't win shit yet. What are we doing here?
Listen. So I was going to tell you when you said that y'all are pulling it, not to put too fine a point on it, but the odds are so infinitesimally small.
Yeah.
It's like almost 400 million to 1 that you win.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm here to tell you that if you put $300 worth of tickets together, you have done practically nothing to increase your odds.
Oh no, I know that.
You've given yourself now you're at 1 in a million chance of winning. Yeah. Oh, do you feel better about it? No, you just blew $300. So when I play the Powerball, I bet I wait until it's over $1 billion. Well, actually, I think I wait until it's over like 800 million. When it's over 800 million, I bet $1, and then that's it. And if I don't win, I only lost $1.
Yeah.
But I know
that's my point. Like
betting $10 isn't going to change anything. It's not going to make my chances that much better.
$20 on this stupid shit already. So yeah. Well,
so
but Ashley,
good.
But the thing is, so Ashley still put in on the next one. So if they do cash out, I'm still not going to work with the rest of them. So we'll be all right.
You think
I figured, what's the point of me putting my extra $10 in here too? Now at this point,
she's putting it in, yeah. But
I bet you my $10 was the one that was going to win it, but it's all good.
Ashley's going to run off.
That's what she said. That's what everybody said when I made that point. I said, "Oh, I'll be good if you guys win." Ashley's in the pool already, and they were like, "You think she's gonna stay?" I was like, "All right, look, if she breaks me off a little money, I'm all right with it. You know what I mean? Whatever. Go live your life."
She's gonna break you off with a new phone. Who dis? That's all she's gonna do. Peace. I'm out.
I just need child support for the cat, and we're good.
Speaking of which, when's the cat going to start making picks again?
Parlays. We should do that. Yeah, I'll do that for primetime games. She'll pick the Chiefs game. Yeah.
All right. Hit us with the juice on this parlay. Let's go.
All right. So we do have $25 free in the bank from that no sweat same game parlay from FanDuel. So I was thinking, what better way than to use that for a touchdown parlay, right?
Yeah, let's go.
Might as well. I don't have it made yet. We're gonna make it now.
We're gonna make it. All right. So where are we starting? Give me a game.
I like an Amon-Ra St. Brown.
All right.
Or Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin hasn't scored a touchdown yet all season. Those are just first two that came to mind just now.
It's taking forever to load.
If we had to choose one out of those two, where would you go, Chad?
So what you say?
Should we throw both of them in there? I don't know if I trust Brady to get the ball to Godwin in the end zone.
I'm going to go Amon-Ra St. Brown. And I don't see. Okay, am I crazy? I don't see Godwin in here.
In that game?
Huh. Oh, shit. I'm not. All right. Wait, my bad. Like I'm looking at every touchdown scorer for the day in all games. They need to have that. I need to be able to just Google search it and just
make it easy.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me just search by name here. So where are we at here? Let's go.
I don't know if I trust that Bucks offense though, man.
Yeah.
I might keep that one out. I don't want that to be the one that kills us.
Plus 180 for Godwin. Plus one. Yeah. I like the leave it at Amon-Ra St. Brown. And we'll stay there. Godwin at plus 180 is enticing, but I'm with you. Like,
do we think Ramondre Stevenson for a touchdown?
Ooh, I like that one. Because yes, I do. I think the Patriots are going to win this game, and I think he is key to that. He's at minus 155, so it kind of balances us out. He's down to minus 150. As soon as I clicked it, it changed. So he
didn't have a touchdown last week on the ground. I think he gets back into the swing of things, gets a touchdown.
Plus 320. Plus 325. So so what else you got?
Oh, I think Damian Harris is actually out of this because he's not even listed here. So all that talk about Damian Harris and why I'm not worried about him, I'm really
Mm,
not worried about him if he's not suiting up.
word.
So I'll take that. That makes
For sure.
the catches play a little even better.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
All right, so
So,
we got those two.
yep.
What about this Vikings Commanders game? Antonio Gibson, Terry McLaurin, Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook.
Jefferson is probably going to be juiced too much, but that's the one that I would be first to go with. Oh no, he's not bad. That's plus 105. So now we're at plus 771. I'm my money's on Justin Jefferson for that one. Here's my
That's the
conspiracy
guy
theory.
wearing the LSU shirt and
I
hat.
was gonna
I
say,
don't know if we
listen,
can trust
listen.
this guy.
No, you can because listen, I'm gonna go to the well that I went to with Jamar Chase when he went back to New Orleans. No, I know they're not going to New Orleans, but they Justin Jefferson is probably he's feeling himself after last night. Every LSU player, like I actually might do that. I might go find like as many different
I was about
national
to say
championship
if Jamar
players.
Chase and OBJ were
Yeah,
playing, we would just go down the line of
yeah.
LSU
Look, so
receivers,
so
Jarvis Landry, all of
but
them. But I think they're all out
Jefferson,
except Jefferson.
Jefferson, no. So you got Jefferson, Fournette,
CH,
yeah,
Fournette,
Clyde Edwards-Helaire. You got some guys, maybe even Terrace Marshall is probably super cheap.
the LSU
Um,
parlay. I
yeah,
like it.
I might do the LSU touchdown parlay. Look, man, let's build this one first, and then we're gonna wrap it up with that because I wanna finish it up so I can go get my picks in for the contest and
Yep.
wrap that up and focus some attention on that. But yeah, so Justin Jefferson today, yeah, I like that. So what else?
He hasn't scored since week 1, man. If he's not
Yeah,
due, I don't know who is.
exactly.
He's
And he's
definitely
he's had a
due.
couple where he's gotten tackled inside the 5.
That one where
So
I had him for the first touchdown score, he got tackled on
that
the
was
inch-yard
brutal.
line.
That was
Brutal.
brutal.
It would have been the first touchdown of the day.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, so we're at with 3 legs, we're at plus 771 now. Do you want to add one more or two more or what? I feel like
I think one
Austin
more
Eckler is too easy to just throw that in there. I don't want to put too
in
many eggs in the Austin
the
Eckler
Austin Eckler
basket, so I'm
basket.
going to leave that out.
Yeah.
Bucks
Bills.
Rams, who fucking knows? Bills Jets, who fucking knows?
Yeah.
Seahawks Cardinals, who knows? Kenneth Walker, maybe. I think maybe Travis
Uh,
Etienne is a good pick.
let me think. Let me think here.
He's juiced up though, minus 140 Etienne.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean,
But with reason, because he's been getting in
yeah.
the end zone.
Let's. Man, the Kenneth Walker.
Oh, you know
seems
what
to
we
make
could do?
what?
We could do the because we ended up going a different route with Aaron Jones, I believe. Oh no, we did take his touchdowns. We did a half unit on each. All right, so I'm gonna keep Aaron Jones out of that then anyway. Because I forgot we ended up taking a half unit on Aaron Jones's 2 touchdowns. I was gonna say
All
we
right.
just throw that one in.
Okay, what was that? I'm sorry, my son was in here talking to me.
Oh no, you're good. I was gonna say we can throw Aaron Jones in there since we went away from his touchdowns, but we did
Oh, okay.
I did actually do a half unit on 2
Yeah,
touchdowns for
on
him.
the 2
So
touchdowns. Yeah.
so I'm not gonna put too many eggs in that basket either. I
Okay.
think for me, in my opinion, it comes down to Kenneth Walker or Etienne right now. I think maybe. But what
So
do you think? I mean, the
yeah.
Bears, Dolphins. I don't want to pick anything there. Bills, Jets.
So I'm gonna go Kenneth Walker on that play, and here's why. It's the same thing as I said about excuse me. That's why my son's going to give me some water. It's the reverse of what I said about Justin Jefferson. I think Travis Etienne is probably not enjoying life this morning, getting all the shit talk from all his Notre Dame teammates and everything in the locker room after they got destroyed by Notre Dame last night. So I'm going Kenneth Walker at minus 130. That brings us to plus 1441. So as we typically do with a $25 bet on that parlay, that'll win you 360.
And if you were here,
$5,
if you were here
win.
from the start, like you should have been, and if you weren't, you're here now. So hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out next time because we'll be here all week for the rest of the NFL season, NBA season, MLB, all that good stuff. MLB season just ended last night. Shout out to the Phillies. They had a good run. I had them at 30-1 or no, 40, no, 14-1 to make the World Series. I had them at 30-1 to win it in March. So, but I mean, the them making it paid for the other bet, and I also profited on that. So we'll take that. But I was disappointed that they lost. But anyway, we'll be here.
Were you ever tempted to cash when they went up 3-1 or 2-1? Were you tempted to cash
I was just gonna let it ride. Yeah. I was hoping they went up 3-1 so I could hedge with the Astros, but the money wasn't good enough for the Astros on the 2-1 hedge. So I was like, I'll just let it ride. Like I said, I was already profitable from them making it in the first place, so I'll take it. But yeah, what I was saying is, if you were here from the start, that's a free $25 bet to win you 360.
That's right.
Well, 360 back, but it's only 340.
385 or 345. Well, no, because this is so.
Oh no, that is that's not included.
They
that's
tell you net
profit.
when they say to win. They're always talking net on FanDuel. It is different. Like DraftKings and BetMGM will give you like the total that you're getting back. I like FanDuel because it tells you like, no, this is your profit in this column. So
right.
So yeah, like that. I like that one, and I will say this too. So now that we've built that one, do you have another one, or was that it?
Yeah, I do, but you can build your LSU one while I'm writing this one.
Okay, so let me build my LSU one. Because I think this has some legs to it. So let's go with excuse me. No Tigers, although I do think Burrow could have a good game. Let's look at that. So I'm just gonna build. This is gonna be a crazy one, so just bear with me because it is meant to be a bit of a high wire act. So this is Burrow over 2.5 touchdowns at plus 176 against the Panthers. Then we're going to go, in that same game, we're going to have, where's our anytime touchdowns? Man, I'm screwing up trying to navigate this thing. All right, not first touchdown scorer. Anytime.
I don't think you'll be able to do that.
Oh, you don't think I'll be able to put them both in the same?
Not from the same game.
Oh, Terrace Marshall's not even in here. Is he out this week? Oh, well. All right. So,
yeah, you wouldn't have been able to do that with Burrow anyway for the same game. So, it is what it is.
Okay. So, that's fine. That's fine. We're going to go to the Vikings.
The LSU parlay. I love it. Go Tigers. Yeah.
And we're going to go with Justin Jefferson. We're already at plus 465 for this one. Who else we got? We had Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So, I'm tempted. I'm not sure if I want to do it with just guys that were on that national championship team, or if I want to include Leonard Fournette or not. But I'm thinking of including Fournette. And this is one of those things where I'm just like, man, they're talking it up, and like if they're on the sidelines, Kansas City's up big. Edwards-Helaire is gonna be like, Coach, let me go get one so I can so they can do whatever dance or celebration or whatever that they want to do where they they're shitting on Alabama for last night. So we got those, and then what was the other one? Oh, Fournette. That's right, right here. So Leonard Fournette, and I know I'm a homer. It is what it is. Deal with it. So we are a 4-leg parlay. Burrow to throw 2.5 plus or over 2.5 passing. So 3+ passing touchdowns. Justin Jefferson, anytime touchdown. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, anytime touchdown. Fournette, anytime touchdown. I'm trying to think of who else is actually like a legitimate, has a legitimate chance of scoring. I wish Jamar Chase were healthy because I'd be hammering that play, possibly even for 2 touchdowns. It's a shame I can't play. No, not Jarvis Landry, but it's a shame I can't play Tyrann Mathieu because not that he would have a touchdown, but he might have a pick. But yeah, so I'm just going to drop like $5 on this one. $5 will win you 166. So I'm hitting that one today. I like it. It's just it's one of those fun little things. And if it hits, you heard it here. Whenever we throw these things out here and you play them and you actually hit one. So if you play all of our other plays, you're up on your money. And then even if you play these parlays and it takes us a few weeks for one of these crazy ones to actually hit, you're still plus money even on the ones that lose. And then when you finally hit one, when we finally hit one, we're going to be up on the season like 300%. So I'm just saying. All right, what you got, AG?
That's
What
the
have you built?
plan.
What have you built over there for us?
Not bad. Hold on 1 second. I got one more to add to it, and then I'll be ready to release this on the world.
All right. I'm at your beck
Patiently
and call
waiting.
with FanDuel ready. Yeah, that's right. Look at that, guys. Like, this is the amount of thought and consideration that goes into these picks. AG is in deep, deep thought, trying to make sure that he maximizes your chance.
Did you say something?
I said,
No, I'm
yeah,
kidding.
exactly. Right. Yeah. He's just trying to help you pile up your bread. All right.
Yeah,
It's about to be Christmas holidays. You're gonna have some a little extra money to get your wife a real nice gift for Christmas. You know.
All right. So go over to the Colts Patriots game. These four of these are ones that we mentioned already, and then I threw another one in that I was going to mention at the end anyway for a parlay. Yeah. So Deion Jackson, the over 21.5 receiving yards. We mentioned that earlier about why that might be a good play, but weren't confident enough necessarily to take it as a straight, or we just liked the other play better as a straight anyway. But we're going to throw this in the parlay because I do still think it has a pretty nice chance of hitting.
Right.
Then we got T. Higgins, 60-plus yards. We talked about him already also, but his number was a little high. So, like we said, we're going to tease that down just a tad and throw it in the parlay.
All right, so
where we can still get some good value at it.
T. Higgins alts, we are showing 50 yards is minus 350, 60 yards is minus 210. Where are you going?
I got 60.
60. All right. So we're at plus 181 total right now.
Yep. Then we're going Austin Eckler, 7 catches.
All right. Okay, that's a college basketball. Every time I get these notifications while we're on the air, so there's a Bills same game parlay of Josh Allen to throw for 280 plus and 3 touchdowns, and the Bills to cover 11.5. That's plus 400. Guess what's not hitting today, people? That thing.
Damn it! Josh Allen 3 touchdowns was one of the plays.
Are you for this?
Yeah, you were here.
Oh shit! I thought you meant for this parlay. But
no. Yeah, no, for my picks today.
That's not to say necessarily that that's the one that doesn't hit.
That's true.
You know? Like
they just don't cover, hopefully.
Yeah,
they're getting the 280 yards if he's getting 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, they don't cover, and he gets the. So what's the? I think that's one that I have them not covering. Yeah, I have them not covering in that game. So
the dog watcher has spoken.
That's right. So that's the leg that's going to bite you if you take that offer from BetMGM today. They are trying to screw you. So what is it? Receptions for Austin Eckler. Yep. All right, Austin Eckler total receptions. We're at 7. All right.
Then I got Tyler Lockett for 70 yards. We talked about that too. We went with the catches instead, but we like the yards also. So we're going to throw that in there too. Then the last pick, other than that, make it a 5-legger at plus 1524. Great value. Stephon Diggs, 60 yards.
Okay. Tyler Lockett was which one?
70.
Oh, 70 yards. Okay. All right. So receiving yards. Yeah, because that's the one that was plus 114. Yeah. All right, so we're at plus 1118, and then you said
Stephon Diggs for 60.
Stephon Diggs for 60 yards.
I think he has a day 2, but that number is just a little high at 81.5, so we're teasing it down, throw it in the parlay instead.
Word. No, I like
the way
it.
To go.
I hope you guys are learning a little something from kind of how we go about this. That it's about trying to find the way to leverage the best bang for your buck. It's not always necessarily about looking at whatever Vegas offers you and then picking a side where they have already made it to where it's built to be a coin flip. What we're trying to do is we're trying to help you turn it into a coin flip when you're actually getting 3-1 odds, or turn it into, a 3-1 bet when you're getting 12-1 odds, that sort of stuff. That's what we're trying to do, is trying to help you improve your pot odds. So again, we always like to just show this. So $5 will win you 76. $25 will win you 381 on this 5-leg parlay. It's at plus 1524. And like we were saying before, if you do all the other straight bets and you look at the record that AG has compiled over the course of the season with his props, especially the last couple of weeks where he's 37-20, you're up almost 24 units in the last 2 weeks, including the Thursday night game earlier this week.
Which I butchered, by the way. Without including that, we're up 28 units. Like I butchered Thursday, so I'm gonna get hot again. Like my bad, fucked up Thursday. That was bad.
It's all good. It's all good. But the point I'm making though is that if you throw another unit at these parlays and then they hit. Oh, by the way, the parlay just went up. By the way, it's at plus 1553 now. But when one of these things hits, now you're all of a sudden. So look, just to give you the lowdown here. So you're betting a unit. And you're up 24 units overall, and you throw one at this one. Well, now you're up 40 units because this thing just got you 16. You know what I'm saying? So this is
and that's a half unit play. That's a half unit play right there too. So
play. So, for me, so if you're a $25 better, bet $10 on this one and win 155. You know, so that's the other thing too. Is a lot of times when we're doing these, we're betting $10 on straights or $25 on straights. We're flipping and turning half of that into one of these parlays. Or in some cases, if I'm a $25 better, some of these big long shot parlays, I'm only throwing $5 on it. There's some of these that I've done that I've only put $1 on, but it was like $1 to win $1,100. You know, and it didn't hit, but man, if it did, that's easy money. So pizza money or I don't know, bubblegum money, whatever it takes. You maximize your odds on the straights, and then you go and try to take a swing for the fences with the house money.
Yep, and that puts us to we're risking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and a half units we're risking today. But obviously those aren't all gonna miss or anything like that. And like Chad said, that touchdown play hits or this parlay hits. We don't even have to worry about what we risk today. Now, the beauty of it is, too, with that free bet, if that touchdown parlay hits, that shit's going on the unit count. If you had to spend your own units doing that because you weren't here Thursday, that's on you, brother.
Right. Facts. Listen, and I'll say this, too. So the dog catcher is 6-3 straight up, and in the last 3 weeks, 6-3 straight up and 8-3 against the spread, picking favorites. So 6-3 underdogs straight up. And favorites are 8-3 against the spread. That's a pretty good record when you look at picking favorites minus the points and picking dogs money line straight up. You're making bank off of that. This week, the dogs that I have identified are Atlanta. Let's see, it was Atlanta, Jacksonville, Seattle, and the Rams. And then I'll get you guys the favorites in a minute here. But what I was gonna get at is, then you're playing with house money. And what I want to try to get across to people also is we're pushing to try to get this channel to 1,000 subscribers. So share this, tell a friend to tell a friend, get the word out there. We get to 1,000 subscribers, then we can start monetizing this thing. We can start doing super chats. You will actually be able to tip the dealer. When you're at the casino and you're playing poker and you win a big hand, you tip the dealer, right? So, we're not saying you have to, but, you could show a little love for the guys who are helping you make all this bread. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
AG, what else you got? Did you have another parlay that you were going to throw out there?
No, that's it. Unless you want to fuck around and make another one real quick.
I got one.
Is it an LSU one or like a legit?
No,
not that the LSU one's not legit, but you get what I'm saying though.
This is the Alvin Kamara Derrick Henry special that we should have done last week that we didn't do.
Yes.
This is going to be all right. You see where I'm going? You see which game I'm going to? All right, you ready for this?
Are we going Aaron Jones and Austin Eckler?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I like it.
My man understands. He's here for it. So here we go.
We're going. We'll throw the other half. We'll throw the other half unit on that. I'm down.
Oh no, wait, sorry, not 40. We're going Austin Eckler 70 yards. We're going hard on this one. All right, we're swinging for the fences. This is going to be a small.
Oh, you're doing yards too?
Yeah, it's going to be a yards and touchdowns. Shit. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is maybe we do
I'm going
tell you
just
what,
touchdowns.
let's take it off of the receiving yards. Let me remove that. Let's do rushing plus receiving. It's going to be a
You're not going to
little.
be able to parlay with touchdowns on there.
Oh, you won't. Okay, all right. Well, then never mind. Then let's just do alt receiving yards. All right. So we're going to go. We're going
You
to go
can do it
70.
on other books, just not on FanDuel.
Yeah, I'm building it here because this is what I want to do.
Yeah, I
All
got
right.
you. No,
So
I know. I'm just saying for the listeners, for everybody. So they
Eckler,
know.
70 yards, 2+. We're already at plus 945. All right. You see where I'm going here? Green Bay Packers. Aaron Jones is going to redeem himself after he screwed me out of money last week by not catching a little dump off and also by being like apparently sideways / semi behind Aaron Rodgers on a couple of dump offs that they called rushes instead. So Aaron Jones, we're going to go 40 plus yards receiving, and we're going to go with him scoring 2 touchdowns. And we are at plus 11,333. $5, my friends. 11 plus 11,333. $5 wins you $566.
And what's the bet? 40. Oh, okay, 40 receive.
40,
Right,
40 and 2 touches. 40 and 2 touches. 70 and 2 touches. All right, so that's a lot. Let's see. Maybe I got a little greedy. Let's
bro,
see.
I'm saying, bro.
That's
Listen,
huge. That's huge right there.
You're getting plus 23.99 on just the 2 touchdowns for both of them.
Okay, well maybe we do both. Maybe we throw. So let's do this. Let me build it with the receiving yards, but I'm going to drop it down for Eckler so that it's not so incredibly difficult to achieve. So we're going to go with Eckler 50 yards. No, that's not that good. All right, so we're going to go with Eckler 60 yards. All right. Austin Eckler 60 yards and 2 touchdowns. Aaron Jones 40 yards and 2 touchdowns. For plus 9403, that is $5 wins you $470. Okay, so we got that one, and then to your point, let's take the yards out and make it just a touchdown play, and we're at plus 23.99 for $5 winning you $120.
Yeah, so I am personally gonna back that one with the 2 touchdowns each.
Fair enough. Yeah,
with a quarter unit.
You.
With a quarter unit. That brings us to 11.75 units risked today. And I'm going to clear that up and make it 12 with one more parlay that I will drop on. No.
Oh, you're going to drop it later. Yeah.
On my Twitter.
There you go.
In about 15 minutes, 15, 20 minutes after I grab some breakfast real quick. So make sure you follow me on Twitter at itsag400 and you'll get that last play also. But yeah, I mean, I like that. But if Chad's hits, if the yards hit also, then blame me for the lost units on that. But either way, we're gonna win if that's the case.
Just take the bet, and then you won't have to blame anybody. It's worth.
No, I'm not. I'm saying either way, you're winning. If Chad wins, if Chad wins, our bet wins too. But you just miss out on a couple profits there. So
even if you just drop $2,
I'll give Chad his credit on that though.
Yeah, even if you just drop $2 on mine.
Or do that. That's a good idea too.
You know,
maybe do a quarter of a quarter unit on Chad's and then the rest on it.
That
can't hurt either.
Let me see. Where's the Aaron Jones? I build it again. I forgot the numbers, so pardon me. Bear with me. We're gonna go down here. Aaron Jones alt receiving yards. We're gonna go 40. Yeah, $2 wins you 130. I'll take it. I'll take that shot. Oh shoot. We've made much bolder picks before. That's true. That is not asking that much, to be perfectly honest. So I think that's it.
Last week where everybody was scoring in pairs and shit. So
exactly. I'm going for it again. We're going to go back to that. Well, again, this is one of those things where you could make 10 of those bets, and you're still going to double your money if you hit on the 11th one.
Yep.
And what's that old saying? 99% of gamblers stop before they hit it big.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. It's a great day to gamble.
It's not really gambling though.
When you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take, like Wayne Gretzky, Michael Jordan, and Michael Scott said.
That's right. And listen, when you're doing it like we're doing it, where you're going through this methodically and you're just looking at it from the standpoint of, look, we're going to go after these percentage plays and we're going to make it to where we're making you 50% ROI, then to me, it's no more gambling than playing than trading in the stock market or investing in the stock market. Like it's the same thing.
Some would even say I've been doing better than a financial advisor that you pay for, but hey, listen,
Right, exactly.
some would say it is all I'm getting
some
at.
would say, not us. We wouldn't say that.
We wouldn't say that ever,
We would
obviously,
never say that. I definitely wouldn't say that we're better than your financial advisor.
I definitely wouldn't say that we've been hitting what was the percent ROI before Thursday? You tweeted it out. I forget the number though. I wish I had it so I could have finished that.
It was like it was 60 something percent, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, I think it was 67 or 70%, somewhere in that range. Yeah. I'm just saying.
Yeah, before Thursday. Thursday kind of crashed it back down closer to 60, but we're still up. We're still way north of 50.
Yeah, Thursday was fuck around. Anytime you're taking bets on the Texans, you should just stop. This is Dameon Pierce.
Yeah,
that's what we learned.
And
but we were also a Dameon Pierce touchdown away from the same game parlay cash in, which would have brought us up 15 units. So I mean, we're on the right track.
So
Let's
real quick,
on that too much.
Real quick, in our group chat, John Ryan says, Tyler said, "What are we on today?" John Ryan said, "Chargers." So there you have your one contrarian bet. Jay and I are both on the Falcons. John is on the Chargers. So I don't know how that makes me feel. I still like the Falcons. I'm always so. The point I was making, when you're following a model like what we have put together with your props and with my stuff on the sides, and then what we both do when we kind of come up with these parlays where we swing for the fences, we build a narrative that makes sense. Like, okay, this could happen and this is why, and then but if you do it enough where you're playing all of that stuff and you're not trying to pick and choose, because if something is 75% effective and you pick and choose 3 out of 10, what if you pick the 3 that lose?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
You got to pick all of them for that model.
You got to pick all of them so that you get the
I'm saying that even though
odds.
And I'm saying that even though I only picked 3 yesterday that Chad sent me, but that's because I was at work yesterday and I was just like, I'm going to just pick 3. Like I didn't have time to go through the whole list and line my money up the right way I wanted to. I happened to pick 3 winners: Michigan State plus 370 or 380 or whatever. Liberty plus
Michigan
470.
State was plus 530. Michigan State was plus 530.
Plus 470 LSU. Liberty plus 400 LSU. Those are the 3 I picked. So I lucked out. But if I would have picked 3 and 2 of the other ones that lost instead of those, I still would have won on the day, but wouldn't have been nearly as good. So
right, exactly.
And if I picked all 5, I still would have won on the day. Is the main point.
Yes,
that we're getting at.
Bingo. Bingo. Yep.
Yeah.
Now, if you're really good at getting cute with it, and you can do better than we can by picking the best of what we have, please, by all means, tell us what hey, these are the ones that I'm going with, and I'm 90% success rate at using the best of your picks. I'm like, oh, sweet. All right, you want to come on the show? Want to come on the show and tell us which ones you're buying in on and which ones you don't like? We are more than willing to keep improving our odds, and that's one of the things I'm doing with my model is I keep honing in on the greater and greater leverage. That's all it is. All of this is about like finding the place where there's leverage. I'm like Andy Reid, Nick Saban, like AG2. Like this is what we do.
Yeah.
Like all we're doing is we're looking at it and we're saying, okay, this one, I like this play to hit, but I don't like the money. So that's not the leverage matchup that I'm going for. What I like is Kyle Pitts on that linebacker. That sort of stuff where we're going to go to the well. And you saw it, like a perfect example is Travis Kelce in the red zone a few weeks ago against Tampa Bay. 4 touchdowns. He didn't even crack 30 yards receiving, but
Raiders.
He had 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Against the Raiders. I'm sorry, against the Raiders. Yeah. Didn't even have 30 yards, but he had 4 touchdowns. Sometimes you just know when, like in a certain situation, there's one matchup that is so much better that why would you even look anywhere else? And so that's what we try to do here. And a lot of these, sometimes it's that, it's 2nd and 1. And this may not be a high percentage play like these parlays here, but we already got 9 yards on first down. So we're already playing with house money. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to throw a hitch and go deep to Tyler Lockett. Because if he gets outside that safety, and because I froze the safety with play action, you take these lower percentage shots, but they have high reward. So that's kind of where we're trying to do it, trying to find those low risk, or low risk, moderate reward plays to build our bread, and then we take those high risk, mega high reward plays as our deep shots.
But it's not even high risk because we're putting less risk on it.
I'm sorry. That's what I meant. I meant low risk. Yeah, low risk, high reward. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So you're on 2nd and 1. That's why I said it's 2nd and 1. I'm not doing this on 1st and 10 from my own 3-yard line. I'm pounding the rock and I'm trying to get some little breathing room so that if I have to punt, my punter is not punting with his foot on the end line. So
yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, that's it. I think that's a wrap. You got anything else?
No, we're good, man.
Even with all our internet issues, my bad, y'all. This is the longest.
I was on point today.
Yeah, this is the longest show we've done. Hopefully, we can we'll tighten it up, and we won't have any issues next week. We'll be more efficient. But I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope y'all get out there and make that bread with us. And I'll
hit that subscribe button for us.
Yes, exactly.
We'll be back next week. We'll be back all throughout the week with more picks as well. So
if you're already subscribed, share it and get some other folks to subscribe, because like I said, we're not that far away. We're a stone's throw from 1,000 subs, and then that's where we start getting into monetization territory. And like I said, then you can tip your dealer. We would be more than happy to take your money, since we're giving you money for free every week on here.
Just don't give me your money. Give me FanDuel's money.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's just, you were just tipping the dealer. That's all.
But on a serious note, like, that's not even what we're here for, man. We want everybody to eat. That's just a perk. That's just an extra emphasis. But yeah, definitely. Hey, best of luck betting, everybody.
Yeah,
we
peace,
out.
y'all.
Peace.